Chapter 505. Gong Zhouxiao sneered. Believe it or not, Violent Dragon. I don't have time to waste on you. Your dragon's fury has been like a headless goshawk for so long. With Shadow Dragon's ability, you can't even tame your own people. How can your dragon's fury compete with us? Hua Xiaolu gritted his teeth and clenched his fists. Mad team, you're too confident. Don't tell me you don't know how many contributions Long Nu has made this year. Just based on the Buddha's head we found on Wanfo Mountain, it's already more contributions than Long Wei's annual missions, right? And we also rescued the medical team at the edge of Eastern Europe and Western Asia. These credits are probably more than dragons, right? Even if our Dragon's Fury Special Force is a headless fly, your Dragon's Might Special Force is just a headless fly. Bull ****. Tang Zhao spat. This time, he really couldn't help but step forward. Don't show off in front of us with your lousy contributions. We solved the terrorists who tried to make a terrorist attack in Tianjia building in advance. Isn't this contribution bigger than yours? Hua Xiaolu saw that Tang Zhao was about to make a move, so he didn't hesitate to get into a stance. As long as this kid dared to make a move, he would definitely make him kneel. If he couldn't make Tang Zhao kneel, he wouldn't follow his ancestors' surname Hua. Tang Zhao wasn't willing to give up either. Last year, he had lost to Hua Xiaolu in the first round of the tournament, and became the fighter with the lowest score in the entire team. He had long since formed a grudge with her. This year, he had been training as hard as he could for the entire year. He didn't believe that he couldn't beat Hua Xiaolu. Just as the two were about to make a move, Gong Zhouxiao shouted, "Stop!" After all, he was Tang Zhao's captain. If his people fought with others in front of him, it would mean that he didn't supervise well. Even if the higher-ups knew that this fight was caused by Hua Xiaolu, they would definitely suspect that as the captain, he couldn't handle it in time and would doubt his leadership ability. Hearing Gong Zhouxiao's rebuke, Tang Zhao once again suppressed his anger. If it wasn't for the fact that Gong Zhouxiao was his idol for many years, he wouldn't have obediently stopped. Of course Hua Xiaolu knew Gong Zhouxiao's misgivings. Immediately he raised his thumb, and then slowly turned in a circle and pointed to the ground, provoking Gong Zhouxiao, gutless. Hee, Wind Dragon, if you don't dare to fight, then don't pretend. I don't blame you. Only a cowardly captain can raise cowardly team members, don't you think so? Mad Squad. Tang Zhao's heart was about to explode. He really wanted to strip naked and have a fierce fight with Hua Xiaolu right now. Even if he was beaten to death, he wanted to cripple the other party to vent his anger. Gong Zhouxiao still did not say anything. As the team leader, a calm mind was necessary. If they wanted to fight, they would have to wait until the martial arts competition. Fighting now was not considered a skill. Violent Dragon, no matter how you provoke me, I won't let my people make the same mistake as you. Hua Xiaolu snorted. Even a clay figurine has a temper. Who hasn't taken a few punishments? If you're a man, then don't have so many misgivings. You should thank me today. I don't expect you to repay evil with good, but you don't have to bite Lu Dongbin like a dog. Gong Zhouxiao said, if I hadn't arrived in time, your dereliction of duty today would have been a big mistake. You neglected your duty, left your post without permission, and caused outsiders to enter the Dragon Brigade. How big of a responsibility this is, don't you know? Don't scare me. Hua Xiaolu was not convinced. If you have the ability, then do it to me. Gong Zhouxiao's mouth slightly raised, and he sneered, fine, then we'll see. Watching Gong Zhouxiao and Tang Zhao's figures disappear into the distance, Hua Xiaolu frowned. Could it be that when he was away, something really went wrong? Otherwise, why would Gong Zhouxiao be so confident? What exactly happened in the middle of the journey? Hua Xiaolu felt a little uneasy. Even if he did not see eye to eye with the people of the Long Wei combat team, he was still quite concerned about whether or not someone had really sneaked into the Dragon Brigade. This was related to a secret, and it was not a joke. Hua Xiaolu looked at the tightly shut door and made up his mind. He directly threw everything aside and strode away. Now that he was worried about Boss, who had the time to guard the door. Anyway, there was still a few minutes before the shift change. At that time, the people of Long Wei would be guarding the door for a day. If they were punished, then so be it. At worst, they would directly fire him. That way, he could still go out and hang out with Boss. Ever since this mysterious troop organization, the Dragon Brigade, was established, the security room at the door had never been empty. This was the first time. After Wang Yi arrived at the medical department, the first thing he did was to go to the emergency room. When he saw Su Yun lying on the ICU bed full of medical equipment, Wang Yi felt an inexplicable sadness in his heart. He had to admit that he was really worried about Su Yun's safety. Otherwise, he wouldn't have directly pushed aside a meeting in a while and directly went to the medical department. "Hello, Chief." When everyone saw Wang Yi, they all opened their mouths to greet him. After all, Wang Yi was a great leader with the rank of general. When Yu Meiren saw Wang Yi, her face was clearly anxious. For a moment, she didn't know how to explain to Wang Yi. She didn't even know what to say. She didn't even give a basic greeting. She just looked at Wang Yi with an apologetic expression and didn't say a word. In the eyes of the 60-year-old Wang Yi, he had watched these young people grow up. Hence, they were all like his own children. He understood. He could even read their hearts with just one look. "You didn't come back with the team because of him, right?" Wang Yi smiled slightly. There was no reproach on his face. Of course, he knew that Yu Meiren and Su Yun grew up together. The two of them were childhood sweethearts. If it weren't for the discipline in the army, they would have been in a relationship openly. Yu Meiren nodded. "I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't have done that, but I really didn't have a choice at that time. I really didn't want anything to happen to him." Wang Yi nodded gently. "Forget it. Let's not talk about the past anymore. I'll deal with you for leaving the team without permission. Although it's pardonable, discipline is discipline. I'll deal with it after his matter is over. Now, I still need your help. I won't punish you for the time being. Tell me, what's the situation with this brat?" Yu Meiren looked at Wang Yi gratefully. She always thought that she would be sent directly to the detention room. She didn't expect Wang Yi to ask her for help. However, Yu Meiren didn't know how to explain Su Yun's situation. After all, there were too many people here. "You guys go out first." Wang Yi could see Yu Meiren's awkwardness. He opened his mouth and asked everyone in the emergency room to leave first. Yu Meiren's eyes were filled with gratitude. "Chief, it's like this. Su Yun's state of mind cultivation encountered a very strange external force. However, this external force can help him improve his state of mind by leaps and bounds. Therefore, his state of mind can't withstand the pressure of this external force, resulting in a temporary coma. However, according to my research, this kind of coma shouldn't happen again. If it happens again, it's a problem with his body." Wang Yi interrupted Yu Meiren. "Strange external force? It can help his state of mind to improve by leaps and bounds?" Yu Meiren didn't know if she should tell the truth. Wang Yi frowned and suddenly muttered to himself. Could it be that there's someone from the Sequoia tribe around Su Yun? How is this possible? Yu Meiren's eyes lit up. She didn't expect that there would be someone in this world who believed in the existence of the Sequoia tribe other than her. At this time, Wang Yi had already reached out to feel Su Yun's pulse. Yu Meiren knew that Wang Yi was feeling the strength of Su Yun's current cultivation. Sure enough, Wang Yi was shocked. He didn't expect Su Yun's state of mind to break through to the 4th level after breaking through to the super expert level. Heavens, even a genius wouldn't be able to improve by leaps and bounds in such a short period of time. Unless there was an expert imparting inner force to him, or a Sequoia tribe member by his side giving him a special influence. What's your conclusion? Wang Yi didn't need to examine Su Yun again. He believed that Yu Meiren still had the ability to do so. Why did you bring him back? What kind of emergency treatment did you perform on the spot? I used a slow bleeding treatment. I thought it would work, but I didn't expect him to still fall into a coma. Yu Meiren said. If I'm not wrong, the reason why Su Yun fell into a coma again because of the inner force of the Sequoia technique in his body. After saying that, Yu Meiren's face turned slightly red. Wang Yi raised his eyebrows. He only needed to analyze everything Yu Meiren said. If there was no problem with his pulse just now, Yu Meiren's diagnosis was correct. Obviously, the inner force of the Sequoia technique in Su Yun's body was a very useful inner force. However, after Su Yun turned 18, this inner force of the Sequoia technique became meaningless. This inner force could help Su Yun consolidate his state of mind and improve his strength before the age of 18. However, after the age of 18, it was almost useless. Perhaps Su Yun's extreme young body caused the inner force of the Sequoia technique he practiced to become more profound, so it caused these things to happen in his body. You're right. The inner force of the extreme young body in Su Yun's body is indeed not to be underestimated. Wang Yi frowned and said, if you want Su Yun to keep his life, you must break his inner force of the extreme young body. When Yu Meiren heard Wang Yi's words, she suddenly felt a burst of excitement in her heart, because Wang Yi's words meant that Su Yun could be saved. Leader, please think of a way. I know you must have a way to help Su Yun get through this difficult time. Since his cultivation was imparted to him by you, then you must be able to help him get rid of it. Wang Yi shook his head. I can teach him this cultivation, but there is no way to help him get rid of it. In other words, even if I have the ability to abolish his entire body's inner force, there is no way to abolish the inner force of the extreme young body in his body. This is not something that I can do. Yu Meiren's heart thumped. One must know that Wang Yi was a master of the Grandmaster realm. With Wang Yi's current physical condition, it was very likely that he would be able to break through the bottleneck of the profound world realm in his lifetime. If even such a master said that there was no way to abolish the inner force of the extreme young body in Su Yun's body, then who could she find to do it? In an instant, Yu Meiren's entire heart went cold. She was completely at a loss. Was there really no way? But Wang Yi continued, to break Su Yun's Sequoia technique, you need an extreme Yin body. Yu Meiren's heart was once again aroused with hope. Where can I find it? Leader, please tell me. I will take him to find it. I must save Su Yun. I promised him, I must help him. Far away on the horizon, close at hand. When Wang Yi said this, his expression was very serious, without any hint of joking. Chapter 506. Yu Meiren mustered up the courage to speak several times, but she couldn't say anything. She knew Wang Yi's character very well. With Wang Yi's age and status, it was impossible for him to make such a joke with her. Moreover, Su Yun was the child he favored the most in his life. He wouldn't joke about Su Yun's life. Wang Yi naturally felt a little embarrassed. Yu Meiren was much younger than him, so he felt somewhat embarrassed after saying such words. However, in order to save Su Yun, he had no other choice. This is the only way. If you can do it, I think Su Yun can still be saved. Of course, this kind of thing can't be forced. If you don't want to, I promise that no one will force you. Only I can do it. Yu Meiren bit her lower lip. Chief, but, this so-called extreme Yin body, I'm not sure if I have it. If I don't, will it harm Su Yun? I really don't know what to do. Wang Yi was firm. As for this, you can rest assured. I can be sure that you have an extreme Yin body. If I wasn't sure, I wouldn't have said anything. The only thing I can do is to inject some vital energy into his body. As for the rest, I really can't help. Yu Meiren fell into silence. She didn't know what she should do. She was really panicking. Although she knew that she could save Su Yun, she wasn't prepared for this method at all. It was too sudden. It was normal for her to be unable to accept the sudden conclusion. After all, this concerned a girl's pure body. You can think about it. Wang Yi said lightly, now Su Yun's state of mind is very weak. I need to inject vital energy into his body. Because of his special situation, it may take 7 or 8 hours, or even more. So you have a long time to think about it. Yu Meiren met Wang Yi's gaze and nodded. Yes, Chief. Wang Yi turned his head to look at Su Yun. He did not see a definite look on Yu Meiren's face, so he continued, you and Su Yun have known each other since you were very young. Although this is the army, all of us can see that you and Su Yun are childhood sweethearts. You two are innocent. Little you, allow me to say something from the bottom of my heart. I really hope that you won't watch Su Yun. Chief, don't say any more. Yu Maren didn't dare to listen at all when she thought that Su Yun might not be able to save the situation. I will consider it carefully. Wang Yi nodded. Go and think about it. Leave this to me. Tell everyone not to disturb me. Yes. Yu Maren nodded and quickly turned to leave the ward. A group of people in front of the medical department saw Yu Maren suddenly come out and immediately surrounded her. Qian Feng was the first to rush to Yu Maren. Sister Yu, how is our boss? Is he okay? What did Master say to you? Yu Maren's mind was in a mess. She didn't know how to answer these questions. Azure Dragon, I want to be alone for a while. Qian Feng paused for a moment, but the others still asked at the same time. Chu Shi squeezed forward. Just as he was about to speak, he was pulled back by Qian Feng. Young dragon, don't ask any more. Chu Shi paused for a moment. Seeing Qian Feng's serious expression, he could only swallow the words back into his stomach. Although some people held back, there were still some who couldn't help but ask, how is boss now? Dr. Yu, tell us, why did you come out? What is Master doing? Shut up, all of you. Qian Feng suddenly shouted. What's there to ask? Master went up, which means boss must be fine. He can be saved. Since we can't help, then we should all pray and pray. It's useless to ask these questions. Everyone stopped talking. Hua Leiteng also agreed with Qian Feng. Yes, since we can't help, let's not give Dr. Yu this kind of pressure. We should all be glad that boss was brought back by Dr. Yu. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Yes, stop asking. Dr. Yu needs to be quiet now. Han Zhan said, Ice Dragon, send Dr. Yu back to the dormitory to rest. Everyone else, be quiet and wait for news here. Gong Sun Lung immediately said, Yes. No, I can go back by myself. Thank you. Yu Maren shook her head. Seeing everyone's expectant eyes, she instantly felt like a bottle of mixed feelings. There were so many members of the Dragon Fury team, but no one doubted her or questioned her. Did she do anything to Su Yun? Everyone trusted her so much and gave her so much trust. This made Yu Maren feel more and more guilty. She really didn't want to disappoint them. After Yu Maren walked for more than 10 meters, she suddenly stopped and turned around. She said lightly, Don't worry, I will definitely find a way to save him. I promise you, I will make sure he stands in front of you in one piece. Yu Maren's voice wasn't loud, but it was sonorous and full of hope and certainty. This made all the Dragon Fury team members instantly have endless hope in their hearts. Yu Maren was the doctor with the greatest potential in the medical department. The whole Dragon Brigade knew this. Now that she said so, everyone felt like they had eaten a pill of reassurance. When Yu Maren just left, Hua Xiaolu ran back. His first question was, How is boss? Don't worry, Sister Yu said that there will be a way to save boss. Qian Feng said, I believe that she will do what she said. Don't worry about it. Your shift isn't over yet. Why did you run back? Boss is lying inside. You want me to wait at the door? How can I sit still? Hua Xiaolu rubbed his temples hard. My brain is about to explode. Hua Leiteng glared at him. Violent Dragon, I don't care what you usually do. If you are like the rest of the brothers, I don't care if you are skipping training. But you are now on shift at the door. In a while, the people from the Dragon Fury team will go over. If they see that you are not there, they will immediately inform Mad Dragon. If Mad Dragon sues you, you will not be able to escape punishment. Hua Xiaolu spat. Who cares? He already saw that I left my post just now. If he wants to punish me, I can't do anything even if I go back. That guy still doesn't know that our boss is back. He is still showing off in front of me. Humph, he said that Dragon's Fury is a headless fly. Hua Leiteng frowned when he heard that. Dragon's Fury was not looking down on Dragon's Fury. He was looking down on him, the captain of Dragon's Fury. Su Yun was no longer a member of the establishment, so he was the head. Mad Dragon said that Dragon's Fury was a headless fly. He was calling Hua Leitang useless. Did Mad Dragon really say that? Nonsense. Do you think I am in the mood to fool you? Hua Xiaolu rolled his eyes. I told him. If Dragon's Fury is a headless fly, then Dragon's Might is a headless fly. Good. Well said. Hua Leitang slapped Hua Xiaolu's shoulder. If Dragon's Might dares to provoke us in the future, then don't blame us Dragon's Fury brothers for not being polite to them. In this year's competition, I want you to promise that you will completely defeat them. You can't lose a single match. We want them to know who is the real sharp blade of the nation. They are just our substitutes, our bench, and our water dispenser managers. The entire Dragon Fury team was stirred up. They all clenched their fists and glared. Yes. In the office of Dragon's Might team, Gong Jiuxiao looked at the two beautiful girls in front of him. He really hoped that they were foreign spies who had barged into the military base. We really didn't know that this was such an important place. We just went to the wrong place. Please let us go. Ruan Qingxuang said, We will leave immediately. We will never tell anyone what we saw. Qin Wan also said pitifully, Yes, yes. We saw the recruitment notice. It was a girl who went to work in the factory next door. We went to the wrong place. Gong Jiuxiao sighed. It's not that I don't believe you, but it's going to be the new year soon. Which factory would be recruiting at this time? Even if you want to make up a reason, you should make up one that I can believe. I advise you to tell the truth. I'm not joking with you. It's a felony to barge into the military base. But there's no sign on the door. How would we know? Qin Wan argued. It said that the ignorant are innocent. You can't deny this, can you? Gong Jiuxiao smiled and shook his head. It's meaningless to argue in front of me. If you don't tell me the truth, you can't imagine the consequences. You dare to use lynching? Qin Wan glared. Let me tell you, Huaxia is a country that pays attention to the law. The People's Procurator's Criminal Procedure Rules, Rule 140, and other legal provisions clearly state that extortion by torture is prohibited. If you dare to use lynching, you are knowingly breaking the law. Haha, it's the first time I've seen a girl who can recite the People's Procurator's Criminal Procedure Rules. Gong Jiuxiao smiled. I'm afraid that a lot of people in the Public Security Department can't recite it. If you're not a police officer, it's a loss. Ruan Qingxuang made up her mind. Yes, she is a police officer. We're not here to work. But if we tell you the truth, I hope you can understand us. Gong Jiuxiao frowned. No way, she's really a police officer? This was a flood rushing against the Dragon King's temple. Although they were not family, they were close. Now Gong Jiuxiao was in a bit of a dilemma. His intuition told him that the girl was not lying. Okay, you say it. Sister Qingxuang, you really want to say it? Qin Wan was surprised. But won't this cause her to be punished? The mistake was made by us. It has nothing to do with Dr. Yu. Ruan Qingxuang said, Dr. Yu abandoned us a long time ago. We found it ourselves. So if the leader is wise, he will never punish Dr. Yu. We will bear all the consequences. Gong Jiuxiao's expression was exaggerated. Who are you talking about? Dr. Yu? Yes, Yu Marin, Dr. Yu. Ruan Qingxuang said firmly, We are friends with Dr. Yu. But we found it has nothing to do with her. It's our own responsibility. It has nothing to do with her. Hiss. Gong Jiuxiao sucked in a breath of cold air. These two girls actually knew the people in their internal doctor team. Obviously, they were not as simple as he thought. But when it came to Yu Marin, he felt that these two girls were not bad people. Because Gong Jiuxiao had a crush on Yu Marin. These two beautiful girls were Yu Marin's friends. He was really in a bit of a dilemma. Chapter 507. Gong Zhouxiao took a deep breath. Looking at the reaction of the two girls, they were still protecting Yu Marin's reputation at this time. Obviously, they were friends. Otherwise, they would not be so considerate of her. Gong Zhouxiao waved his hand and said to Tang Zhao behind him, "Go and untie the two girls. Dr. Yu's friend is my friend." Tang Zhao naturally had no doubts about his boss's order. He went forward to untie them. Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan were overjoyed. Could it be that they met Yu Marin's friend? Then they could be saved. At least Yu Marin would not be punished or criticized. "You are Dr. Yu's friend?" Ruan Qingxuang seemed a little excited. "This is great. We finally found someone who can help us. We really didn't mean to barge into your mysterious troop, but we were really worried about Su Yun's safety. So even though Dr. Yu dropped us off halfway, the two of us still managed to find our way here." Before Ruan Qingxuang could finish speaking, Qin Wan tugged at her from behind. At this time, Gong Zhouxiao and Tang Zhao's jaws almost fell to the ground in shock. The two of them stared at Ruan Qingxuang with their eyes wide open. It was as if everything she said was a dream. She actually said the name Su Yun. One must know that this name represented a legendary existence in the Dragon Brigade. However, she said it so casually. Yen Long and Su Yun had left the Dragon Brigade for a while. Dragon Fury team was in the limelight in the Dragon Brigade because of him. For so many years, the Sharp Blade team had been above other special forces because of Su Yun's existence. When Su Yun gang left, the Dragon's Fury suddenly turned into a pile of loose sand and almost disbanded. This was a huge commotion that had occurred in the Divine Dragon Brigade. Gong Zhouxiao had not heard this name for a long time. He did not expect to hear it from two outsiders today. "You mean, Su Yun came here with Dr. Yu?" Yes, it was Dr. Yu who brought Su Yun here to treat his illness." Ruan Qingxuang said, "If you know Dr. Yu, you must also know Su Yun, right? He used to be one of your people, right? Qin Wan saw Ruan Qingxuang talking so much and reached out to pull her. She was still not sure who the other party was. Talking too much made Qin Wan feel a little uneasy in her heart. After being surprised for a long time, he put away his surging emotions and looked at Gong. Gong Zhouxiao's mind was in a mess. This news was too shocking for the entire Dragon Brigade. No wonder Hua Xiaolu left her post without permission. She wasn't afraid of being punished. So it was because Su Yun suddenly came back. But why did you bring him back? Treatment. What illness did Su Yun have? This was something that Gong Zhouxiao couldn't understand. He turned to Tang Zhao and said, "Go and find out what happened. If such a big thing happened, the people of the Dragon's Fury Special Forces won't be quiet." Yes. Tang Zhao finished speaking and quickly left. Gong Zhouxiao narrowed his eyes. "What is your relationship with Su Yun? What is your relationship with Dr. Yu? How do you know each other? And why is Dr. Yu with Su Yun?" Among these questions, Gong Zhouxiao wanted to know the most was the last one. Everyone knew that Su Yun and Yu Marin were childhood sweethearts in the Dragon Brigade. So even if he had a crush on Yu Marin, he never dared to say it. But later, Su Yun was personally sent away by Lieutenant General Wang Yi. Gong Zhouxiao always thought that this was his chance. But he had tried to date Yu Marin twice, but he was rejected. Later, he secretly sent her a bouquet of flowers, but there was no follow-up. Gong Zhouxiao's unrequited love was actually quite serious, but because no man had ever appeared by Yu Marin's side, he did not feel much pressure. After all, Yen Long was no longer in the Dragon Brigade. But now, he suddenly knew that Yu Marin had brought Su Yun back. He could not stay calm. Could it be that even if Yen Long had left the Dragon Brigade, he had always been in contact with Yu Marin? How far had their relationship gone? Gong Zhouxiao was very concerned about this question, so he asked Yu Marin why she had a relationship with Su Yun. Ruan Qingxuang wanted to answer, but Qin Wan said first, "This is a long story. It can't be explained clearly in a short time. If you want to know, you can take us to see Dr. Yu. He, worthy of being a police officer." Gong Zhouxiao said indifferently, but this is not the police station. There are rules here. It is impossible for me to know my mistake and make a mistake. You have already made a big mistake by rushing in. If I take you in, won't all the mistakes be placed on me? I'm really sorry. Before I figure out this matter, I have to trouble you two to stay here. Qin Wan'er frowned. Are you going to illegally detain us? Gong Zhouxiao shook his head. You can't say that. This is not illegal. This is just for the safety of state secrets. If you think this is not good, then I can also hand you over to the higher-ups. I don't think they will be as easy to talk to as I am. You will face interrogation and conviction. Not only you will have to face this, but Dr. Yu and Su Yun will also have to face this. You can decide for yourselves which is more important. Qin Wan'er had to admit that Gong Zhouxiao's words scared her. If it was only her, then she would not be afraid. After all, she had interrogated so many people and had seen so many scenes. But she did not want Ruan Qingxuang to suffer with them, and it would implicate Yu Meiren and Su Yun. Now Su Yun was still in a coma. Yu Meiren wanted to save him. She could not implicate them. Ruan Qingxuang bit her lip. Please don't implicate Su Yun and Dr. Yu. Don't worry, I don't want to implicate them. Gong Zhouxiao said, if you don't want them to be implicated, then you'd better stay here and not run around. After that, Gong Zhouxiao got up and left. He could not sit still. Seeing these two girls, he felt an inexplicable anger in his heart. For so many years, he could not compare with Su Yun in anything. The girl he liked Su Yun. Su Yun could complete the task he could not complete. For so many years, he lost to Su Yun in martial arts competitions. Everything made him very unhappy. Finally, Su Yun left the Dragon Brigade. He thought he could become the best, but in the end, Yu Meiren still ignored him. And Su Yun, who left the Dragon Brigade, still had contact with Yu Meiren. He could still get the care and love of so many girls in the outside world. Unfair, the heavens are too unfair. He was the same as Su Yun. They were both children who had lost everything since they were young. Why was it that Su Yun was able to experience so many good things after suffering, while he could never compare to Su Yun? Even if he took off his shoes, he would never be able to catch up. About 10 minutes later, Tang Zhao, who had heard the news, returned to Gong Zhouxiao's side. He panted, Boss, Yen Long. He. What happened to him? Gong Zhouxiao's heart was in his throat. Obviously, he knew the answer. He was back. Tang Zhao held his breath. Phew. It was Dr. Yu who brought him back. Now, Yen Long is still in a coma. Wang Yi is in the emergency room using true energy to treat his state of mind. All the people of Dragon's Fury are in front of the medical department. This matter can't be wrong. Looking at Tang Zhao's panting appearance, Gong Zhouxiao also knew that this was an indisputable fact. Yen Long. I didn't expect him to really come. Dragon's Fury's people are in the medical department? What about Dr. Yu? Where is she? Tang Zhao's breathing finally calmed down. Yes, Dragon's Fury's people are downstairs in the medical department. T-Rex is not guarding the door. As for Dr. Yu, I heard that because she drove back to Beijing overnight, Lieutenant General Wang Yi asked her to go back to the dormitory to rest. Gong Zhouxiao's heart calmed down a little. Have you heard about Yen Long's situation? Can he be saved? I haven't heard about this, but Dr. Yu seemed to have promised Dragon's Fury's people that she would have a way to save Su Yun. Tang Zhao said, It's been more than half an hour since Lieutenant General Wang Yi entered the emergency room. It seems that Yen Long's situation is quite serious. Gong Zhouxiao frowned. This was really mysterious. He really didn't know how Yen Long became like this. Could it be that he provoked someone and was injured by other masters? Humph, even if it was, he asked for it. It seemed that the two women just now really came to Beijing with Yu Meiren. They didn't lie. It was not difficult to see that the two girls were extraordinarily concerned about Yen Long. He didn't know what the relationship between them was. Gong Jiuxiao was a little jealous and also a little resentful. Because Yu Meiren could be said to be dead set on Yanlong, but he still provoked other girls outside. Even so, Yu Meiren could still accept Yanlong, but she wouldn't look at him. Tang Zhao said, "Boss, what should we do now?" The two people in the room seemed to be telling the truth. Should we let them go or hand them over? Let's wait first. Gong Jiuxiao said, "I'll arrange the matter of these two people for you. Provide them with good food and drink, don't let them cause trouble, and don't let other people know. I want to wait for Yanlong to wake up before dealing with them. These two people are not a threat, but they have committed unforgivable mistakes." "Yes." Tang Zhao nodded, very much agreeing with their boss's words. Gong Jiuxiao thought about it and felt that he should go and see for himself to determine what had happened. Thinking of this, he strode alone to the medical department building. He wanted to see how loyal Dragon's Fury people were to their former boss, and also wanted to see if Shadow Dragon Hua Leiteng could still maintain his face. This was a very good opportunity to humiliate Hua Leiteng. One must know that ever since he became the captain of Dragon Fury team, he had never been recognized by everyone. Now that Yanlong suddenly appeared, wasn't it a good opportunity to humiliate him? Chapter 508. When Gong Jiuxiao arrived at the medical department building, he was indeed shocked by the whole scene. A former captain who had been fired had returned from a critical illness, and he could still get everyone's support. He knew very well that he could not do this. If he was Su Yun, there would not be more than 3 or 5 people who would be so loyal to him. But Su Yun's old subordinates were praying for him. Even the new female members of Dragon Fury team, Yin Long and Fan Shuang-er, were included. This made Gong Jiuxiao's jealousy burn even more fiercely. He had always been inferior to Su Yun. It was the same in the past, and it was still the same now. Naturally, he was very unhappy in his heart. "Shadow Team, what is your Dragon Fury team doing? A group examination?" After Gong Jiuxiao walked in front of everyone, he deliberately pretended not to know anything and smiled slightly. "But Violent Dragon should be on duty at the gate now, right? Why are you here?" "Haha, Shadow Team, aren't you too lax in your management of your people?" "Mad Dragon, I don't need you to meddle in how I educate my people." When Shadow Dragon saw Gong Jiuxiao, he knew that he was here to cause trouble. "You just need to take care of your own things. You can control your people, but you can't control my people, Dragon's Fury. They are of different levels, understand?" These words were very satisfying. At least everyone present in the Dragon's Fury Special Combat Team secretly applauded in their hearts. Usually, Quang Long was very good at pretending. Since the departure of the boss Su Yun, the Dragon's Fury Special Combat Team didn't have the head Yen Long. Quang Long became more and more arrogant. He wasn't so ostentatious before. He didn't dare to be rampant in front of the people of Dragon's Fury. And now, he was bullying Shadow Dragon because he did not have the ability to control the overall situation. Gong Jiuxiao sneered. "Shadow Team leader, if you speak like this, then it's meaningless. Since you can't control your own people, then what kind of leader are you? Just disperse. However, if you want to join my Dragon's Fright battle team, I'll have to take a test. Who knows if you guys entered Dragon's Fury with your standards? At the very least, I don't want people like Tyrannosaurus who don't understand basic discipline. Mad Dragon, if you have a problem, come at me. Don't stir up trouble here." Hua Xiaolu stepped forward and said, "If you want to fight, I'll keep you company, but don't provoke us, brothers. Otherwise, if we really beat you to death, you won't have any medicine for regret. If you have the guts, let's go solo. Let's go. He. I'm afraid that you, T-Rex, don't have the qualifications to train with me alone." Gong Jiuxiao said with disdain, "Don't think that just because you have broken through to the first-class martial art master realm you can be arrogant. Let me tell you, even first-class martial art masters are divided into 3, 6, 9 ranks. Don't use your Tier 3 strength to show off in front of me." Gong Jiuxiao, who had broken through the 9th step, indeed had the qualifications to say this. Although everyone present was a first-rate expert, The only ones who could truly be on par with him in a one-on-one battle were probably Hua Leiteng, who was also at the 9th step, and Han Zhan, who was at the 8th step. As for Hua Xiaolu, although he did not have the strength of a Tier 3 like Gong Zhouxiao said, with his current Tier 5 standard, it was indeed impossible for him to beat Gong Zhouxiao. We still don't know who among us is at the 3rd step. If you have the guts, let's go. Hua Xiaolu was not afraid. If he could not beat him, he would be beaten to death. No matter what he lost, he could not lose to the people of Dragon's Might. One must know that in all these years, Dragon's Fury had always been the number one in the Dragon Brigade. When it came to one-on-one battles, Dragon's Fury was not a coward. Gong Zhouxiao snorted, "I can't be bothered to play with you. I only came here to see Captain Shadow. Hee. I wonder how long Captain Shadow will be able to hold on to this position? I heard that an old friend has returned. Hee, if he survives, will the Shadow team have to give up their position? UF** King dare to say another word to me." Chen Feng panicked on the spot. He did not care if Gong Zhouxiao said anything about other people, but if he dared to implicate Boss Su Yun, he would definitely be the first to risk his life. "Yo, what did I say?" Gong Zhouxiao was still full of provocation. "Azure Dragon, I realize that ever since your boss left, your temper has been getting worse and worse. What, are you afraid that your boss won't survive? Isn't his life quite tough? What do you have to worry about?" Chen Feng scurried up and was about to hit him. "Mad Dragon, F***CK your grandpa." Fortunately, Hua Leiteng and Han Zhan pulled Chen Feng back in time. Otherwise, the two of them would definitely have fought on the spot. Chen Feng was like this. He would be fine if you made fun of him, but you could not make fun of Su Yun. If anyone dared to say anything bad about Su Yun, he would get angry. If anyone dared to make fun of Su Yun's life, he would definitely F***CK them up. TSK, TSK, TSK. I'm so scared. Gong Zhouxiao was quite happy. I'm really jealous of Yen Long. He's already like this, but he still has so many brothers who are loyal to him. Gong Sun Lang also stood up. "Captain Mad, the competition between our two teams is a good thing. Don't use it as a fuse for trouble. We don't care who you make fun of, but don't make fun of our boss. Otherwise, don't blame the brothers of Dragon's Fury for not being polite to you." As soon as Gong Sun Lang's voice fell, Fan Shuang Chu Shi, and the others surrounded him. Obviously, they wanted to gang up on Gong Zhouxiao. Gong Zhouxiao couldn't help but take 2 steps back. At this time, Chen Feng finally calmed down. He shook off Hua Leiteng and Han Zhan, pointed at Gong Zhouxiao's nose and said, "If you want to watch the show, get lost. Otherwise, find a place to practice. Laozi is full of anger now. If you're scared, go back and call for help. Don't F***king pretend in front of me. If the upper beam is not straight, the lower beam will be crooked." Gong Zhouxiao said recklessly, "Didn't your captain teach you to respect your superiors? No matter what, I'm still 1 level higher than you. You'd better be polite to me." Hua Leiteng said, "Captain Mad, are you scolding me for not looking after you well? If you really know your manners, then you wouldn't have come here looking for trouble. If you're not afraid that the brothers of our two teams will make things worse because of you, then you can continue. But let me remind you, don't blame my fists for being rude to you." Gong Zhouxiao suddenly looked up and laughed. "Ha ha ha, Shadow Team really knows how to joke. When did I scold you? Oh, look at me. I forgot, you're Dragon's Fury's captain now. Look at my brain, I thought the captain was Yen Long. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm really sorry. Laozi will kill you." Chen Feng was furious again, and this time, Hua Leiteng and Han Zhan did not stop him. Chen Feng's leg was as fast as thunder, directly attacking Gong Zhouxiao's face. Gong Zhouxiao quickly retreated, his arms quickly parrying. Although he blocked Chen Feng's swift kick, he still took a few steps back in embarrassment. He wanted to fight back, but because there were so many people on the other side, he knew that if he fought back, he would not be able to gain any advantage. Moreover, Chen Feng was stopped by Fan Shuang. "If we attack first, we'll be at fault. You can't even take this little provocation, right? Chen Feng did not pursue the victory. It was not that he did not have the willpower to take this little provocation, but he could not tolerate anyone speaking ill of his boss, and he could not tolerate anyone making fun of his boss, because his boss was now in the emergency room, and he did not know whether he was dead or alive. He felt terrible. No one thought that Chen Feng would be quiet because of Fan Shuang-er's words. What was even more unexpected was that Fan Shuang-er, as a newcomer, dared to stand up and declare war on Gong Zhouxiao. Captain Mad Dragon, if you want to provoke a war between Dragon's Fury and Dragon's Might, we, Dragon's Fury, will accompany you at any time. Fan Shuang-er said, but it will be too late for you to regret it. Captain Mad Dragon, where it is possible to let people off, one should spare them. What are we waiting for now? You must have found out, otherwise, you wouldn't have come here to make trouble. You should know that dragons have reverse scales, and you should also know what Dragon's Fury's reverse scale is. I don't mean anything else. If you don't like it, you can choose not to listen to it. Gong Zhouxiao's face turned red. Fan Shuang-er dared to talk to him like this, and he really could not accept it. After all, he had known Chen Feng and Hua Xiaolu for so many years, and it was normal for them to have some quarrels. But Fan Shuang-er did not have this kind of relationship. Obviously, this girl made him completely embarrassed. Seeing Gong Zhouxiao's face turn red from Fan Shuang-er's words, everyone started to jeer, making Gong Zhouxiao lose face. Do you understand? Hua Xiaolu said proudly, let me translate for you, Captain Mad. What our beauty means is, either you get out of here with your tail between your legs, or you bring people here to regain your face, understand? Oh right, there's one more thing. It's already past my duty at the gate, and it's your Dragon's Might's turn. Captain Mad, do you want to take a look and see if your people are there? Otherwise, don't blame me if something happens. Gong Zhouxiao snorted coldly, okay, then we'll see. Pray for Yen Long, and see how he begs me. Chen Feng glared at him, our boss will never beg anyone in his life, don't worry. Captain Mad, this year's competition is coming soon. I advise you to put your mind on teaching your people more tricks, or else they'll be beaten by our Dragon's Fury again. Don't you feel embarrassed that the gap between us is so big for several years? Gotcha. Gong Zhouxiao clenched his fists so hard that they made cracking sounds. This was the most unpleasant thing in his heart. Every year, there was no way to take advantage of Dragon's Fury in the competition, so the higher-ups had always paid more attention to the Dragon's Fury team, and not their Dragon's Might. This year, he must find a way to turn the situation around. Yen Long's return was a huge surprise to everyone in the Dragon Brigade, but to Gong Zhouxiao, it was a huge surprise. He didn't want Yen Long to come back, because once Yen Long came back, Dragon's Might was destined to be suppressed by Dragon's Fury for the rest of their lives, never to rise again. In the medical department's emergency room, Su Yun was sitting cross-legged. Behind him sat Wang Yi, who had been continuously injecting true qi into his body. As the deputy chief of the Dragon Brigade, Wang Yi cherished talents as much as his life. He cherished talents like Su Yun even more. Even if Su Yun was no longer a member of the Dragon Brigade, he would definitely not watch him fall like this. Back then, because he valued Su Yun's extreme yang body, he imparted the extreme yang body to him. Originally, he wanted to let Su Yun rely on the extreme yang body to stabilize his cultivation state, but he didn't expect that 20 years later, Su Yun would encounter such a fortuitous encounter. In this world, the only thing that could counter the extreme yang body's inner qi was the legendary special substance produced between the Zikihoa tribe and Pa Bo Yu. Therefore, Wang Yi never thought that the extreme yang body's inner qi would one day drag down Su Yun. Fortunately, his Dragon Brigade still had Yu Marin, who had an extreme yin body. Otherwise, even if he invited the vicious fairy doctor, it would still be useless. Chapter 509. Because Su Yun's condition wasn't an injury, but an adverse reaction caused by the internal energy in his body resisting each other, even Wang Yi had to be very careful when dealing with it. He could only gently inject his own qi to protect Su Yun's state of mind. After all, What Su Yun was about to break was the internal energy that had existed in his body for more than 20 years. If he wasn't careful, it could very well backfire and hurt Su Yun. After 10 whole hours, even Wang Yi didn't expect that Su Yun's state of mind would be so strong that even the qi he injected in the beginning could be counteracted. Therefore, what was originally supposed to take 7 to 8 hours took a total of 10 hours. This surprised Wang Yi, but also made Wang Yi feel gratified. At least, although Su Yun had left Dragon's Fury, he hadn't been crippled. Su Yun was still the guy that he admired. He still maintained his competitive spirit. He was still the most outstanding one among the youths in the Divine Dragon Brigade. No one could compare to him. Wang Yi used 20 minutes to adjust his breathing. After 10 hours, he had exhausted almost all of his physical strength. The rest of the matter wasn't something he could control. The rest would all be left to Yu Meiren. The sky was now dark. When Wang Yi walked out of the emergency room, the doctor at the door only said one thing to him: "You've worked hard, Chief. The soldiers in front of the medical department haven't left. They haven't eaten for an entire day. You see, if you don't give the order, I'm afraid this will continue." "I understand." Wang Yi nodded. He knew very well that everyone in the Dragon Fury team was just like him. They were too worried about Su Yun, so he didn't blame them at all. If he was one of them, he would also wait downstairs until there was news from his captain, who he had gone through life and death with, in the emergency room, regardless of whether the news was good or bad. Seeing Wang Yi walk out of the medical department, all the members of the Dragon Fury team stood up. Hua Leitang quickly went up to him. He could see that Wang Yi's body was a little weak. "Master, are you okay? Master, how's our boss?" Qian Feng and Han Zhan also stood up to greet him. They asked the question they were most concerned about. Although they ignored Wang Yi, it was from the bottom of their hearts. They knew very well that Wang Yi's strength wouldn't be affected by saving someone. However, it was different for Hua Leitang, who was concerned about his status. Wang Yi waved his hand. "Yanlong is fine, but I'm afraid that he won't be able to meet with you guys today. But I believe that everything will be better tomorrow. All of you have been disorganized and undisciplined for the whole day. Now, I order all of you to accompany me to the cafeteria to eat." Everyone had it. Assemble. The chief was indeed the chief. Under Hua Leitang's lead, everyone quickly lined up in their usual formation. "Run!" Wang Yi shouted and took the lead to run in front of the group. Although the people behind him were running, their hearts were still in the emergency room of the medical department. At this time, no one was in the mood to eat, but their master had already given the order. Even if they didn't want to eat, they had to eat. A soldier's duty was to obey orders. Yu Meiren was in a daze in the dormitory for the whole day. She had been struggling with her thoughts. Every time she thought about doing something so embarrassing, she would instantly blush. It felt as if she was doing something immoral. However, this was the only way to save Su Yun. She had no other choice. Wang Yi had already arranged for people to send Su Yun to her room. Yu Meiren had no other way out. Wang Yi had said that it was up to her whether she did it or not. If she didn't want to, Wang Yi would think of other ways. But he still hoped that Yu Meiren could help Su Yun. Yu Meiren naturally wanted to help Su Yun. Su Yun was the last person she wanted to hurt in her life. She definitely couldn't let Su Yun go on like this. Now, it was time for her to make a move. For Su Yun, she could do anything. This was the oath she had made. Now, it was time for her to fulfill her oath. Only Yu Meiren and Su Yun were in the room. Yu Meiren gently unbuttoned Su Yun's clothes. Her fingers trembled slightly. Although she was saving someone, she was a girl after all. Taking the initiative to do this kind of thing was really embarrassing for her. Finally, Yu Meiren took off all of Su Yun's clothes. She blushed and didn't dare to look around. When she unbuttoned her own clothes, her fingers trembled even more. This was more nervous than any surgery she had ever done. Yu Meiren closed her eyes, bit her lips hard, and tore off her clothes. Because she was afraid that she would be embarrassed, she turned off all the lights in the room. However, she, who had no experience, fumbled in the dark for more than an hour before she finally understood how to do this kind of thing. When the tearing pain came, she held back the tears at the corner of her eyes and persevered. There was only one belief in her heart. As long as Su Yun could be safe, she would sacrifice everything, including her most important and precious thing. As time passed, the tearing pain turned into an inexplicable pleasure. Yu Meiren slowly fell into a daze. Could this be love? No wonder so many men and women would lose their minds for love. Even a rational person like her would lose her mind under this kind of feeling, let alone other rational people. After an unknown amount of time, Yu Meiren felt a strong force being sucked into her body. She was completely exhausted. She lay directly on Su Yun's body and couldn't open her eyes anymore. After an entire night, Yu Meiren didn't know how she got through it. My head hurts. It hurts. This was the first thought that came to Su Yun's mind when he opened his eyes. Perhaps he didn't even know that this was already the third day of his coma. However, when he opened his eyes, he realized that the entire environment was so unfamiliar. Compared to the environment here, Yu Meiren, who was lying beside him, seemed to be even more shocking. Su Yun felt that there was nothing covering his entire body. His heart thumped as if he realized something. When he saw the scarlet blood on the bedsheet, his entire head buzzed. What exactly happened? How did he do Yu Meiren? But Su Yun couldn't remember anything. He only remembered that Yu Meiren helped him drain the blood from his body. Then, he ate pizza with the three of them. He couldn't remember what happened after that. How did something happen between him and Yu Meiren? How did it happen? He couldn't remember at all. Moreover, this was obviously not Yi Fala's room. Where was this? Soon, the faint sound of morning training outside pulled Su Yun back into a deep memory. What a familiar sound. Could it be, this is the headquarters of the Dragon Brigade? It can't be. If it weren't for the fact that he was worried about waking up Yu Meiren, who was sleeping soundly beside him, Su Yun would have already turned over and sat up. This was too surprising for him. What kind of surprise did the heavens want to give him? Su Yun quickly understood that he must have fainted again. He could figure out that Yu Meiren might have taken him back to the Dragon Brigade after he fainted, but he couldn't figure out why he would do such a thing with Yu Meiren while he was unconscious. Yu Meiren suddenly turned over. For a moment, Su Yun, who was unprepared, quickly closed his eyes. He didn't know how to face Yu Meiren. He would rather kill himself than do such a thing to Yu Meiren. However, what Su Yun didn't expect was that Yu Meiren didn't scream as he imagined. Instead, she gently stroked his face and said with a bitter voice, "Could it be that I saw wrongly? It's not an extreme Yin body? Why haven't you woken up yet? Extreme Yin body? What kind of nonsense is this?" Su Yun's mind was buzzing. He knew that he must have missed a lot of things while he was unconscious. After Yu Meiren got up, she took hot water and helped Su Yun wipe his body clean. Then, she helped Su Yun put on his clothes. Finally, she walked into the bathroom to take a shower. Hearing the sound of water, Su Yun sat up. After careful identification, he dared to confirm that this was Yu Meiren's bedroom. It seemed that he didn't hear wrongly. The sound just now was indeed the sound of morning training. He was really in the Dragon Brigade. God, what kind of joke was God playing on him? Su Yun took a deep breath. It took a long time to get from Shenzhen to Yanjing, but he didn't know it all. This meant that he hadn't been awake for a long time. The hunger in his stomach also told him that he hadn't eaten for a long time. But even so, he could still feel that his body was very relaxed. It was as if he had just received a full body massage. Other than his head being a little dizzy, everything else was very comfortable. What had happened in the past few days? Why did he feel different after waking up from his coma compared to the previous times? The previous times he woke up from his coma, he felt as if he had just fought with someone. His muscles and bones were stretched taut. But this time, he felt exceptionally relaxed. He didn't feel any tension at all. About half an hour later, the sound of water in the bathroom stopped. Yu Meiren wore a bathrobe and walked out while wiping her wet hair. She didn't expect to see Su Yun sitting on the bed when she raised her head. For a moment, Yu Meiren was stunned. The towel in her hand fell to the ground. She stared at Su Yun, who had just woken up. The words on the tip of her tongue didn't come out for a long time. This kind of complicated feeling was hard to describe with words. Excitement, nervousness, happiness, shyness, all kinds of emotions. It was as if a bottle of 5 flavors had been knocked over. Su Yun grinned. Did I faint again? Why am I here? Yu Meiren pouted. Without saying anything, she threw herself into Su Yun's arms and cried. She thought that Su Yun couldn't wake up because of her body. Although Yu Meiren looked calm, she didn't feel good in her heart. Now that Su Yun was awake, all the grievances in her heart were swept away. This feeling was as if she had been reborn. Chapter 5:10. At this moment, Yu Meiren's complicated feelings instantly melted. As a supermaster, Su Yun naturally could feel all the reactions of his body more clearly than ordinary people, so if he could say so, it meant that his body had recovered. This was such a gratifying news for Yu Meiren, only she knew. Then you should quickly go find Lieutenant General Wang Yi. Yesterday, he spent more than 10 hours transmitting true energy to help you maintain your state of mind. Now he must be looking forward to the news of you waking up. Yu Meiren said, Go quickly, don't let them worry too much. The guys of the Dragon Fury team waited at the entrance of the medical department for the whole day yesterday. They didn't even drink a mouthful of water or a grain of rice. They are all worried about you. Hurry up and tell them the good news. Su Yun smiled and nodded. Of course, he had to go find Shizuen and ask what was going on. Why was Yu Meiren with him? Why did he give Yu Meiren too? All of this was definitely not a coincidence. It was obviously a deliberate arrangement, because Yu Meiren was obviously deliberately hiding something from him. She urged him to leave as if she was afraid that she didn't know how to face him. Leaving Yu Meiren's dormitory, Su Yun once again walked on the familiar ground and came to Wang Yi's office with the fastest speed. Wang Yi seemed to have already known that Su Yun would come to find him, and had already been waiting for him in the office. When Su Yun pushed the door open and entered after knocking twice, Wang Yi put down the teacup in his hand, smiled slightly, and said lightly, Why are you still so rash? Just like before, you didn't wait for me to let you in before you came in? Because of this, you were criticized a lot. Why haven't you changed? Su Yun hadn't seen Wang Yi for a long time, and he had long missed him. But when he really saw him, he had to say, When did I not find you for urgent matters? Who would have the time to wait for you to finish your tea and say, Come in? It's not like I don't know that you're waiting for me in the room. Why are you being so courteous? Wang Yi frowned. You little rascal, why haven't you changed a bit? Didn't I tell you to find a secluded place to cultivate your character? Not only did you not cultivate your character, you even got yourself into so much trouble. No wonder the divine Dr. Physiognomy said that you're destined to be restless. You don't have to educate me. I just want to know what's going on. Why was I with Yu Meiren last night? Why did something happen between me and her? Su Yun was also a little embarrassed. That, you have to explain it to me. I feel like I've done something that's been punished by the heavens. I don't feel at ease. Wang Yi smiled. You don't have to worry. You're not the one who wants to do this. Yu Meiren had no choice but to do that. In order to save you, she was willing to sacrifice her own body. Do you still remember the first set of mental cultivation methods I taught you when you were sent to me by Zhang Taisui? Su Yun nodded. Of course he remembered. If he hadn't cultivated the mental cultivation method of extreme young child, with his special physique, he would have died long ago. The mental cultivation method of extreme young child played an important role in Su Yun's survival. It could be said that without this mental cultivation method, Su Yun wouldn't be where he was now. But this mental cultivation method has no meaning after the age of 18. Su Yun suddenly froze. Could it be that Yu Meiren did that yesterday to break the layer of internal energy in my body? That's right. The internal energy of extreme young child in your body is fighting against the internal energy of the Zikajoa tribesman. That's why you've been in a coma all this time. Wang Yi said in a very serious tone. One of the two must be removed, but no one knows how to remove the layer of inner energy that the Zikajoa tribesman activated in your body, so we can only remove your young child inner energy. After you turn 18, the young child inner energy will be of little help to you, so there won't be any loss even if we remove it. Su Yun was completely shocked. He wasn't shocked because his extreme young child internal energy was broken, but because Wang Yi actually knew the secret of the Zikajoa tribesman. Didn't you Maren say that no one was studying the Zikajoa tribesmen anymore? Why did Wang Yi also know that the Zikajoa tribesman could stimulate the special internal energy in his body and cause his cultivation to advance by leaps and bounds? If that's the case, Su Yun dared to say that there was still a small number of people in this world who knew the secret of the Zikajoa tribesman. Wang Yi saw Su Yun's surprise. I've lived for so many years, what haven't I seen? Therefore, I know more about some things than you. You don't have to be so surprised. If there's a chance, I'll tell you slowly. Now is the chance. Will there be any chance in the future? Su Yun, Shizuan, you were the one who made me leave that year. After that, I haven't returned even once. If it wasn't because of my body's problems and because I coincidentally met you Maren who was also in Shenzhen, I'm afraid I wouldn't even have the chance to come back this time. I don't want to know too much, I just want to know what you Maren did for me. Wang Yi saw Su Yun's firm gaze and helplessly shook his head. He sighed and said, "Sigh, I knew you're a stubborn kid. Once you acknowledge something, you must get to the bottom of it. I don't have anything to hide from you. You have an extreme young body since you were little, so the virgin technique mental cultivation method I taught you was very helpful to you. But if you want to break this mental cultivation method's internal energy, it can only be done by an extreme yin body. Maren has an extreme yin body. In the entire Dragon Brigade, I don't have the ability to find a second person like her. So, you should understand what I mean, right?" Su Yun's Adam's apple moved. After a long time, he weakly asked, "Then what kind of method did she use to break the virgin technique's internal energy in my body?" "Yen Long, you're an adult. There are some things you don't need me to say too much." Wang Yi said indifferently, "What is virgin technique?" "It's an internal energy mental cultivation method that only a virgin man can use. If you lose your virgin man's body, the virgin technique's mental cultivation method will naturally disappear along with the thing you lose." Su Yun rubbed his brows hard. "Is there no other way? Must you Maren make this kind of sacrifice to get rid of the thing that shouldn't be left in my body?" There really was no other way. Wang Yi took a deep breath. This is the only way to break the virgin technique's internal energy, because this is the mental cultivation method you've been practicing since you were little. Even if there's an expert more powerful than me, it's impossible to destroy it for you. The only way is to break your virginity, and it has to be an extreme yin body. Wouldn't this put you Maren in a difficult position? Su Yun couldn't accept it. This was the only way. You Maren must be under a lot of psychological pressure. She had no other choice. Wang Yi didn't avoid Su Yun's gaze. "Yes, she's under a lot of pressure. I knew you didn't want her to be like this. So, I lied to her and said that even if she didn't do it, I could think of other ways. I hoped that this would reduce the psychological pressure on her." Su Yun was stunned for a moment. "Did she choose this herself?" Wang Yi nodded. "Yes, this was you Maren's choice. I've done everything I could, and I've given her the right to choose. If she doesn't choose to save you, then... If she didn't choose to save you, all I could do was to find other extreme yin bodies. There's no other way." Su Yun didn't speak. He was silent. Maren's choice moved him to the point of confusion. The scarlet stain on the bed sheet he saw this morning was obviously not something else. Maren made such a huge sacrifice for him, and this morning she was still talking to him as if nothing had happened. It seemed that she really didn't want him to be under too much psychological pressure. Other than being moved, Su Yun couldn't find any other words to describe his feelings at this moment. Facing a person who might not wake up at any time in this lifetime, Maren resolutely offered her most precious thing. Su Yun must take responsibility for this. Yen Long, you must thank her properly. Wang Yi said indifferently. She must have gone through a complicated psychological struggle before she made this kind of decision. For a girl, it's not easy. The extreme Yin body has to be maintained pure in order to save you. This is also the reason why I chose her and believed her. It's because Beauty Yu is the same as you, a child who grew up in the Divine Dragon Brigade. That's why I understand and believe her. Do you still remember that time when you had a concussion? The one who saved you was also her. This child is your destined benefactor. You have no choice but to admit it. Su Yun nodded, but still didn't speak. He continued to choose to be silent, because words couldn't describe his feelings of gratitude. Wang Yi said again, Su Yun, although I don't know what happened to your body, I know that you encountered a fortuitous encounter that only appears once in 10,000 years. You have the rumored Zixahoya people by your side, right? Su Yun also wanted to ask Wang Yi this question. Shizuan, do you also believe in the existence of this race? The first time I heard about this race, it was also Yu Meiren who told me, but I didn't dare to believe it. But after it really happened to me, I suddenly realized the seriousness of this matter. Wang Yi narrowed his eyes. Su Yun didn't deny it, which meant that what he said was absolutely right. If this huge secret was discovered by someone with intentions, it would inevitably cause chaos in the entire world. At that time, it wouldn't just be the people of the underground world, any country's secret organization would want to obtain this mysterious secret weapon. The special substance in the Zixahoya people's body is more powerful than any forbidden medicine. This kind of power is unpredictable. It's too scary. Then what should I do? Su Yun deeply frowned. He really didn't dare to imagine what he should do if this matter really happened. I understand you. I'm afraid that this secret is only known by Yu Meiren, who has always studied the Zixahoya people. I'm afraid the others don't know. Wang Yi said. I mean, no one, including me, knows what kind of person the Zixahoya people by your side is. Su Yun nodded and then shook his head. Maybe, but maybe not. I'm not sure. There may be others who know this secret. I've always been worried about this problem, afraid that one day this matter will suddenly cause chaos. If such a day really comes, I really don't know how to face it. This question was very serious. Wang Yi said, if you're not sure, I hope you can be sure as soon as possible. If there are still people who know this secret, even if it's the simplest way, you have to protect this secret. Now that you've already left the Dragon Brigade, this problem is your own problem. If you believe in the Dragon Brigade, you can also bring that Zixahoya person into the army. This might be safer. Chapter 5:11. Wang Yi nodded. Alright, you have the right to decide your own matters. I'm just giving you some suggestions. If you have your own methods and plans, I'll respect your choice. If you need help, you can ask me. Due to the uniqueness of this situation, I won't just stand by and watch. Shizuan still cares about me the most. Su Yun, without you in this life, there would be no Su Yun today. Shizuan, thank you. Why was his mouth so sweet all of a sudden? Wang Yi smiled faintly and said, I'm afraid those stinky brats from Dragon's Fury are about to collapse. You'd better hurry up and pacify them. Where were Azure Dragon and the others? Su Yun's heart suddenly surged with excitement. After leaving for so long, he finally returned to the Dragon Fury team. This feeling was simply too great. Wang Yi waved his hand. I've already given a death order. They're all waiting for your news at the emergency assembly point. Otherwise, they would have exploded long ago. Hurry up and go pacify those brats. Yesterday, they were disorganized and undisciplined the whole day. Today you, as their instructor, are here. If they continue to be disorganized and undisciplined, be careful that I'll severely punish each of them. Su Yun snorted and turned to leave. Suddenly, he thought of something. He hadn't drunk any water since he fainted, and his throat was already smoking. Su Yun suddenly stepped forward and directly snatched the teacup from Wang Yi's hand. Gulp, 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 gulp down the entire cup of tea. Then, he broke into a run. As he ran, he said, "Geezer Wang, you're too extravagant. You actually used your big teapot to brew such good tea. What a waste. You'd better not let me catch you." Wang Yi was angry and amused at the same time. It seemed like this brat was really fine. Otherwise, he wouldn't be so lively. Sigh, what a waste of his cup of high-quality June May tea. Who knew who was the one wasting it? 29 listless, muscular young men and a dejected girl were gathered at the emergency assembly point. It was already 10 o'clock in the morning, and they still hadn't received any news. What gave them the biggest headache was that they had been ordered to stay here by Wang Yi's death order. No one dared to cause trouble. Although their master was usually easy to talk to, once someone disobeyed his death order, the consequences would definitely be terrible. Qian Feng had once disobeyed Wang Yi's death order because of Su Yun's expulsion. As a result, he was locked up for 15 days. After he came out, he was even expelled from the Dragon Fury team. At that time, Qian Feng only had two paths. He could either go to the Dragon Fury team and follow Gong Zhouxiao or get lost. If it wasn't for everyone in the Dragon Fury team begging him for so many days, Qian Feng might still be out in the underworld. After that, no one dared to challenge their master Wang Yi's authority again. Even if they were to wait for death here, they had to wait. No one dared to run out. So when Su Yun appeared in front of everyone was dumbfounded. They thought that even if Su Yun woke up, he wouldn't be able to walk directly. Someone would inform them to visit him in the ward. They didn't expect their boss to be standing in front of them unscathed. This was really beyond their expectations, so they couldn't accept it for a while. Fan Shuang-er was the only girl in the Dragon Fury team. She didn't have to worry about things like men don't cry easily. Seeing Su Yun standing in front of her unscathed, tears gushed out of her eyes. Qian Feng's eyes instantly turned red. He resisted the urge to blink more than 10 times before he could control himself. Han Zhan was the first to take the lead and rushed forward. He hugged Su Yun in his arms. This kind of silent greeting between brothers was the most touching. Following that, Hua Xiaolu and Gong Sun Leng also rushed up, one from the left and one from the right. Hua Leiteng and Chu Shi also surrounded the second floor. Under their lead, everyone surrounded Su Yun tightly. No one knew who took the lead, but they directly lifted Su Yun up and threw him into the air with all their strength. This was the happiest day for all the members of the Dragon Fury team after Su Yun left. They vented all their excitement and only cared about throwing the person they missed the most. No matter where he landed, there would always be someone to throw him again. Su Yun was thrown until he was dizzy and disoriented. He begged for mercy. Fan Shuang-er, who had been watching from the side and didn't participate in the throwing, couldn't help but laugh through her tears. Okay. Boss has something to say. Everyone stop. Qian Feng shouted and motioned for everyone to stop. Su Yun was then supported by more than 10 pairs of hands and placed on the ground. After his feet touched the ground, Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He said 2 words, "Steady." Looking at the excited eyes in front of him, Su Yun's heart was surging. Soaring Dragon, why is your hair so long? Flying Dragon, you kid, you ate too much. Be careful not to ruin your body. Qilin, you've grown taller. Your puberty period should be over. Songlong, you haven't shaved for a few days. Why are you so sloppy? Fire Dragon, stinking brat, your smile is still so wretched. Su Yun's gaze swept over the brothers who had gone through fire and water with him. It felt really good to see them again. Finally, Su Yun's gaze fell on Hua Leiteng. He patted him on the shoulder. Shadow Dragon, it's been hard on you. These bastards are hard to take care of, right? Hee, you have to be patient. Boss. Hua Leiteng felt Su Yun's trust on his shoulder and felt touched. I really hope you can come back to take care of us again. Without you, Dragon's Fury is not the same as before. Boss, we need you. Dragon's Fury really can't do without you. Yes, boss. Dragon's Fury can't do without you. Talk to Master properly and let you come back. Everyone followed. Chen Feng didn't say anything. If he could, he would have begged long ago. However, he knew that discipline was discipline. Even if Su Yun came back this time, he would still leave. Fan Shuang understood Chen Feng. She reached out and patted Chen Feng's back twice to comfort him. Su Yun smiled slightly. Brothers, I know your intentions. However, our troops belong to the country. They don't belong to us or master. It's not up to us to do whatever we want. If there's a chance, of course I want to be with my brothers every day. If there's no chance, I also want to say that no matter who's in the Dragon Fury team, it's still the invincible blade of our country, Hua Xia. Dragon's Fury's soul is in all of us. No matter who leaves, Dragon's Fury is still Dragon's Fury. Even if there's only one person left in the end, Dragon's Fury's soul will still exist. Everyone was silent. Hua Leitang felt a strong deterrence. He knew that there was a gap between him and Su Yun, but he didn't know how big this gap was. Today, he finally understood. It turned out that the gap between him and Su Yun was so big. It wasn't just a gap in leadership, but also a gap in understanding of Dragon's Fury's soul. Dragon's Fury's soul was in every Dragon Fury team member. Boss, has your body recovered? Chen Feng was still a little worried. He said, What's the problem? Why did Sister Yu bring you back to the army? If you've recovered, you won't leave right away, right? Su Yun shrugged and smiled bitterly. Of course I'll leave right away. I'm no longer a member of Dragon's Fury. You guys don't want me to make a mistake, do you? As an ordinary person, I've already trespassed into a military base without the permission of my superiors. If I don't quit while I'm ahead and leave obediently, I'm afraid I'll make a mistake on top of a mistake. But this isn't your fault. You were the one who was passive. Hua Xiaolu said, as the saying goes, the ignorant are innocent. You don't even know how you got in. Of course you're not wrong. So you're saying that Sister Yu has to bear all the mistakes? Su Yun reached out and flicked Hua Xiaolu's head. Hua Xiaolu grimaced in pain. Hiss. Boss, I've changed. Hua Xiaolu dodged and said, I didn't mean that. Sister Yu did bring you back yesterday morning, but I was the one on duty. I already saw you in the car and let you in. If we're talking about punishment, I should be the one to be punished. I'll take any punishment. As long as you can stay, I'm willing to be punished with a month of confinement. Su Yun smiled bitterly. Unfortunately, even if you're punished for a year, I still can't come back. So, you can give up on that idea. Gong Sunlang said, Boss, if you don't come back, Longwei's people will be especially arrogant during this year's competition. I can't stand that arrogant face of Dragon's Fury the most. Ever since you left, he's been wanting to ride on our Dragon's Fury's neck and shit all day. Even yesterday when we were waiting for your news in front of the medical department, he dared to come and provoke us alone. After Su Yun heard this, he raised his eyebrows. So after he left, Gong Zhouxiao had been covering the sky with one hand. Su Yun couldn't care less about him acting like a tyrant in Dragon Fury Team, but if he wanted to ride on top of Dragon Fury Team's head, Su Yun wouldn't let him. Even if he had left Dragon's Fury, he still had the soul of Dragon's Fury in him. As long as he stayed in Dragon's Fury for a day, he would be a man of Dragon's Fury in life and a ghost of Dragon's Fury in death. He wouldn't allow anyone to say anything bad about him or be disrespectful to Dragon's Fury. Su Yun snorted. Even Dragon dares to challenge us in front of us? Shadow Dragon, this is your dereliction of duty. Shadow Dragon lowered his head. Indeed, he didn't do well. He had embarrassed Dragon's Fury and embarrassed Dragon's Fury. If Su Yun was here, Dragon wouldn't have dared to be so arrogant. Although he wasn't afraid of Dragon's Fury in terms of strength, he had always been at a disadvantage in the provocation between Dragon's Fury and Dragon's Might. This kind of competition wasn't considered a violation of the rules in Dragon Brigade. Wang Yi even hoped that everyone could maintain a competitive mentality because of this. Because of this, the annual martial arts competition and battle maneuvers were especially serious. Everyone was fighting for this honor. Boss, I've embarrassed you. Shadow Dragon said, like my brothers, I really hope that you can stay. A day without you in Dragon's Fury is like a day without a head. I don't want Dragon's Fury to be unable to raise its head in front of the other teams. Boss, think of a way to stay. Su-Yun reached out and punched Shadow Dragon's left shoulder. What are you talking about? You don't even see yourself as the dragon's head, and you expect the other teams to see you as the dragon's head? If your brothers don't see you as the dragon's head, who do you expect to see you as the dragon's head? Hearing Su-Yun's words, everyone didn't dare to say anything. To be honest, they really didn't see Shadow Dragon as the dragon's head. Otherwise, they wouldn't have emphasized the title of acting captain every time they called him. In all of their hearts, Su-Yun was probably the only one who could be the captain of the Dragon's Fury Special Forces. Everyone, listen up. Su-Yun said sternly. Chapter 5:12. Since Shadow Dragon is the person chosen by Master, it means that his ability has been affirmed. If any of you are not convinced by him, then you are not convinced by me. Su-Yun reprimanded sternly. In the Dragon Fury team's emergency meeting room, he often lost his temper with this group of brothers who were closest to him. Sometimes, he had no choice. If he didn't lose his temper, this group of bastards wouldn't take it seriously. Hearing Su-Yun's words, everyone lowered their heads. It had to be said that these people were more or less unconvinced. The only one who supported Hua Leiteng to be the acting team leader was probably Han Zhan. Of course, Han Zhan was just a little more rational. It wasn't that he felt that Hua Leiteng was more suitable than Su-Yun, but other than Su-Yun, only Hua Leiteng could take on this heavy responsibility. Seeing that everyone had lowered their heads in silence, Su-Yun continued, "This year's tournament is about to start. Let me tell you, ever since I, Su-Yun, joined the Dragon Brigade, I have never heard of Dragon's Fury losing to anyone. But this year, with the state you bastards are in, I really don't believe you can win. I'm telling you, if you dare to lose, don't blame me for turning on you the next time I see you. What can't you lose? You lose Dragon's Fury. What can't you lose? You lose the championship of the tournament. In my eyes, that trophy is Dragon's Fury's. Don't you dare drag me down. Do you understand?" Understood. Everyone answered in unison without any hesitation. They were used to responding to Su-Yun's calls and responses with 120% of their spirit. This was the true spirit of the Dragon Fury team. Ever since Su-Yun left, they hadn't been this motivated in a long time. To be honest, Hua Leiteng was quite touched. He didn't expect Su-Yun to stand up and help him at this time. He didn't have much confidence before, not because he didn't have confidence in his own strength, but because he didn't have confidence in the Dragon Fury team's competitiveness. To put it bluntly, the strength of Dragon's Fury and Dragon's Might were about the same. There was no such thing as an overwhelming victory in a competition between them. It was a competition of who had the more competitive heart. The competition had a maximum of 9 rounds, and the side that won 5 rounds first would win. Dragon's Fury had always been able to end the competition with a score of 5-3, or even 5-2, relying on their strong desire to win. Even if Dragon's Fury lost the match, it would be due to bad luck in the draw. The only way Dragon's Fury could lose the match was if a Tier 3 expert from his team ran into a Tier 7 expert from the opposing team. Captain Yen Long is indeed Captain Yen Long. It seems that the Dragon Fury team can't do without you in this lifetime. Ha ha ha, well said, well said. The door to the rendezvous point was pushed open, and Gong Zhouxiao walked in with a few clapping hands. I heard that Leader Yen has woken up. Congratulations. Congratulations. Long time no see. I really missed you. Su-Yun looked at Gong Zhouxiao, who had come uninvited, and the corners of his mouth curled up in a sinister smile. This guy, who had wanted to compete with him all his life and stand above him all his life, actually chose such a good day to ruin his good mood. Captain Mad, I haven't seen you for so long, but your words are still so unpleasant to hear. Haha, I really missed you too. Gong Zhouxiao waved his hand. They say that honest words are unpleasant to the ear. That's right. When I said that Dragon's Fury can't do without you, I definitely didn't mean to slander you. I just think that Dragon's Fury is more suitable for you to lead. If it were anyone else, it would be like a plate of loose sand. Leader Yen, you don't really think that a plate of loose sand can win against Dragon's might in the competition, do you? Mad Dragon, don't try to sow discord here. If you want to pick a fight, just say it. Let's go to the training field to practice alone. Those who play tricks here are called cowards. Chen Feng stepped forward. Whoever dared to provoke Su Yun, he would fight with his life on the line. Azure Dragon, haven't you always been the most unconvinced by your captain? Gong Zhouxiao said, What, now you want to pretend to be a good person in front of two captains? Haven't you been coveting the captain's position for a long time? Haha, maybe now is your chance. Anyway, Leader Yen can't be promoted. If Captain Ying's incompetent leadership is removed, maybe you, Azure Dragon, will be the captain. Azure Dragon glared at him. Don't talk nonsense. If you talk nonsense again, Laozi will fight you to the death right now. TSK, 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 your mentality is too young, too young. Gong Zhouxiao smiled and said, With your current performance, how can Leader Yen rest assured? Sigh, fortunately, I don't have a team like you, otherwise I would have a big headache. Su Yun just smiled and didn't say anything. He could understand Gong Zhouxiao's mentality. When he left, Gong Zhouxiao definitely didn't have a regretful attitude. He was very happy, because among the younger generation, only when Yen Long left could the title of the number one be transferred to him. But although Su Yun left, Gong Zhouxiao still didn't get the respect that the number one of the younger generation should have. At least the people of the Dragon Fury team still didn't take him seriously, and still worshipped Su Yun like a god. So Gong Zhouxiao had been jealous of Su Yun for a long time. Originally, with the passage of time, his feelings of jealousy and hatred towards Su Yun had gradually faded away. He also wanted to use the martial arts competition that was about to begin to prove that he, as the number one person of the younger generation of the Divine Dragon Brigade, had the strength and standard. But at this time, Su Yun was unexpectedly brought back to the Dragon Brigade by Yu Meiren, and Gong Zhouxiao had been unrequited in love with Yu Meiren. At first, when Su Yun didn't leave, everyone said that Yu Meiren and Su Yun were a couple, so no one dared to provoke Yu Meiren. Everyone was afraid of angering the captain of the Dragon Fury team, Yen Long. Of course, this included Gong Zhouxiao. So at most, he occasionally fantasized about how he could interact more with Yu Meiren. After Su Yun was expelled from the Dragon Brigade, Gong Zhouxiao began to think of turning his fantasy into reality, but he couldn't do anything about it. Now that Su Yun was brought back by Yu Meiren, Gong Zhouxiao's fantasy was completely destroyed. He couldn't believe that Su Yun was still in contact with Yu Meiren after being expelled. Plus, he heard that Su Yun spent the night in Yu Meiren's room. Even if he knew that Su Yun was unconscious yesterday, he would still be jealous. After all, Su Yun walked out of Yu Meiren's room standing this morning. Gong Zhouxiao didn't dare to think about what happened in the room. Mad Squad, a member like Azure Dragon isn't someone you can control. Su Yun smiled. If he was really in your team, I'm afraid you'd be crying. Maybe you think that Shadow Squad doesn't have leadership skills, but you're wrong. If Dragon's Fury is led by you, it'll be even worse. Dragon's Fury's brothers all have their own tempers, unlike your Dragon's Might, who are all controlled by you into machines that only listen to you. Don't talk nonsense. Gong Zhouxiao was a little angry. Su Yun, do you really think you're still a member of the Dragon Brigade? Stop dreaming. You've been expelled by Lieutenant General Wang Yi a long time ago. Now you're here to endanger national security. What right do you have to challenge me? Usually in the Dragon Brigade, no one would call each other by their names. They would all call each other by their code names. This was the rule. So Gong Zhouxiao deliberately called out Su Yun's name to wake Su Yun up. He was no longer the leader of the Dragon Fury team, Yen Long. He was just an ordinary person. Mad Dragon, who the F***ck are you calling? Hua Xiaolu had already rolled up his sleeves as he spoke. As long as there was one more eyesore, he decided to fight with Gong Zhouxiao and let him know that Dragon's Fury's people were not to be trifled with. If he didn't provoke this fight, He was afraid that he would keep looking for trouble. He wasn't wrong. Su Yun was indifferent. I've been expelled from the Dragon Brigade, and I'm no longer Yen Long of the Dragon Fury team. He's right to call me Su Yun. Hearing Su Yun admit it, Gong Zhouxiao was a little proud. He snorted. Su Yun, it's good that you know your own identity. This is the Dragon Brigade. As an outsider, you'd better keep a low profile. Otherwise, I have the right to take you down at any time. Su Yun met Gong Zhouxiao's gaze and walked forward. Just now, Su Yun was accommodating Gong Zhouxiao, but it was definitely not because he had a good temper. Since Gong Zhouxiao had said so, he had to make him understand something. Mad Dragon, long time no see. Not only have your words not changed, but your personality is still as annoying. Su Yun stood in front of Gong Zhouxiao and smiled. You have the right to take me down, but you have to understand that having the right doesn't mean you have the ability. Why don't you show me? Also, let me tell you, this is the Dragon Brigade. If you break the rules, you will be punished. But if I break the rules, nothing will happen. Do you understand? Because I'm no longer a member of the Dragon Brigade, I can do whatever I want. If you push me too far, don't blame me for falling out with you. Gong Zhouxiao didn't even dare to meet Su Yun's gaze. Su Yun's aura was so overbearing that even a first-rate expert like him, as well as the leader of a team, found it hard to bear. This kind of overwhelming aura could only be exerted by an expert who was at least a level higher than him. In an instant, Gong Zhouxiao's scalp went numb. He remembered very clearly that when Su Yun was expelled from the team, he was a first-rate expert of the 9th step. At that time, he was at the 8th step, on the verge of breaking through to the 9th step. During this period of time, he had been training with all his might in order to break through to the 9th step. But now that he had broken through to the 9th step, he was able to look down on the heroes of the younger generation of the Dragon Brigade. Su Yun had actually used this kind of aura to give him a head-on blow. How could someone who had been expelled still have a breakthrough? At that time, they had all heard with their own ears that Su Yun's inner demons would suppress his growth. Perhaps in this lifetime, he would never be able to break through again. What was going on? Gong Zhouxiao's eyes widened. He couldn't believe the reality he was facing now. I can leave at any time now, but you can't. Su Yun narrowed his eyes and said in a joking and threatening tone, If you've thought it through, you can make a move on me at any time. It just so happens that I've been unconscious for 2 or 3 days, right? I'll have to trouble the mad team to help me move my muscles. Provocation. A naked provocation. Gong Zhouxiao's neck muscles trembled a few times, and the veins on his forehead couldn't help but twitch slightly. Even a clay figurine was a little bloody, let alone him. But in the end, his rationality suppressed his thoughts. There were some things that couldn't be done. Leader Yen, you're too good at joking. How could I make a move on you? Gong Zhouxiao smiled faintly. Who is who between us, hee. Besides, I've helped you hide something. When you find out, you'll definitely have to thank me properly. Ha ha ha. Chapter 513. What did he mean by that? Qian Feng frowned and said, Boss, why do I feel like he's caught you red-handed? Su Yun shrugged and said disdainfully, Even if he caught me red-handed, it's definitely not mine. It's yours. Think about it carefully. Have you ever done anything against the rules and been caught by Mad Dragon? From what he said, it seems like he wants me to beg him to help you guys keep your wrongdoings a secret. Everyone looked at each other. No one thought that they had done anything that would be caught red-handed by Long Wei. Hua Xiaolu suddenly exclaimed, I know what he means. Boss, I was on duty at the security room at the entrance yesterday morning. Big sister brought you back early in the morning. When I opened the car door for a routine check, I realized it was you, so I panicked at that time. I followed the car to the medical department. At that time, I don't remember if I forgot to close the door. When I remembered and ran back, Mad Dragon and a few Long Wei people were already at the door. Su Yun frowned. They really caught you red-handed. Being on duty at the Dragon Brigade security room is not a small matter. How dare you leave your post without permission? I was also anxious at that time. Hua Xiaolu scratched his head in embarrassment. At that time, Mad Dragon even scared me. He said that when I left, someone wanted to enter the Dragon Brigade to steal secrets. I broke out in a cold sweat. But now that I think about it, that bastard must have been playing with me. Hearing this, Su Yun suddenly felt a little uneasy. As the saying goes, you can eat whatever you want, but you can't speak whatever you want. Even if Gong Jiuxiao was a little narrow-minded sometimes, he would not make up such nonsense to scare people. Okay, you all know that I'm fine. Go do what you need to do. Continue with the training. Don't talk nonsense with me. Su Yun, I have something to talk to you Marin about. Let's go. Boss, how many days are you going to stay here? Han Zhan asked. Su Yun smiled helplessly. Black Dragon, why are you asking this? Your thoughts should be more mature than theirs. I'm no longer Yen Long. Do you think Shizuan will let me stay here for too long? If possible, I'll try to apply to have dinner with everyone tonight. Fan Shuang'er had been silent in the corner. She envied this kind of relationship. Brothers who had gone through life and death together were indeed different. Boss, don't lie to us and really stay for dinner with us. Chen Feng tried to confirm. How do I know if the old man is right or not? But I'm sure if it's because of my arrival, if you don't even do routine training, the old man will urge me to leave. Su Yun said seriously, if you want me to stay, it'll depend on your own performance. If it's because I'm here and you perform well, maybe the old man's heart will soften and let me stay for dinner. If it's because I'm here and you guys are disorganized and undisciplined for the whole day, then the old man will definitely want to drive me away right now. That made sense. Absolutely made sense. All of them. Assemble. Hua Leiteng suddenly roared. Everyone understood what he meant. They quickly lined up, followed by a loud command. Turn left. Run. Go. The orderly team ran out of the emergency assembly point and ran to the training center. In order to let their boss stay for dinner with them, everyone was determined to perform well and let their Shizuan know how important their boss was to them. After all, in Dragon's Fury, everyone was still hoping that Su Yun would come back. When Su Yun returned to Yu Marin's room, Yu Marin was sitting on the bed in a daze. She didn't even hear the sound of Su Yun pushing the door open. Su Yun walked into the room. The scarlet color on the bed was so glaring. It was as if a big stone had been hooked onto Su Yun's heart. For a moment, Su Yun didn't know what to say. He could only stand silently at the door and quietly look at Yu Marin, who was deep in thought. After some time, Yu Marin suddenly realized that there was someone at the door. She lifted her bed sheet as fast as she could and pretended that nothing had happened. Seeing that it was Su Yun, Yu Marin sighed in relief. Why are you back? The guys in Dragon's Fury miss you a lot. You should go and catch up with them. I've been there. Su Yun said lightly. He walked to Yu Marin and sat down in front of her. Since he knew the truth, Su Yun felt that it was necessary to thank Yu Marin. Just now, Wang Yi told me, I'm not good with words. You know this, so I don't know what I should say to you. Although I don't know how to express my gratitude, I'm afraid the only thing I can say is thank you. Yu Marin's face turned red. Since Su Yun said so, it was obvious that he knew everything. This was awkward. How embarrassing. If only she knew, Yu Marin wouldn't feel particularly embarrassed. She would only feel a little embarrassed when facing Su Yun. As long as Su Yun didn't know, then she wouldn't feel too embarrassed. Now that things were out in the open, she had nowhere to hide. She really couldn't hang on anymore. This is what I should do. As soon as Yu Marin said this, she felt that it was particularly wrong. However, the words that were said were like splashed water, they couldn't be taken back. Although Su Yun didn't know whether to laugh or cry at Yu Marin's words, he was more touched than anything else. He did something that Yu Marin didn't expect. He actually pulled her into his arms. This made Yu Marin somewhat flattered and somewhat unprepared. From Shenzhen to Yanjing, it must have been very difficult for you to bring me here alone. Since I was young, you have taken care of me without complaint or regret. I don't know how much debt I owe you. Su Yun hugged Yu Maren tightly and said, "Everything you have done for me, I will remember it in my heart. I know that these things can't be repaid." Yu Maren was a little out of breath from being hugged by Su Yun, but this feeling was really comfortable. It gave her an inexplicable sense of security. However, there were some things that Yu Maren wanted to make clear. "I didn't bring you here from Shenzhen alone. Qing Shuang Jie and Wan also came together." Su Yun was stunned for a moment. He frowned and said, "They also came? But the Dragon Brigade is a confidential place. They can't casually enter and leave. You didn't violate the rules because of this, did you?" In Su Yun's impression, Yu Maren was not a person who would treat rules as nothing. "Of course, I couldn't let them know the location of the Dragon Brigade headquarters. When we were 3 li away from the army, I had them get off the car." Yu Maren said, "They may look along the way, but they will definitely give up when they see the factory." For some reason, Su Yun felt uneasy in his heart. He suddenly thought of what Gong Zhouxiao said to him in the afternoon. Gong Zhouxiao said that he was helping him to hide something. Could there be a connection? Su Yun was more and more certain of his thoughts. Qin Wan is a police officer after all. Her basic judgment and reasoning ability should not be too bad. I am really worried that they will find this place. When I saw that group of brats just now, Violent Dragon also said that when he was on duty yesterday, he left for a while because of me. If Qing Shuang Jie and Wan appear at this time, I am afraid none of us will know. It can't be. Even if Violent Dragon left when he was on duty yesterday, it would not be so coincidental. If they really came and there was no one on duty at the door, wouldn't they find their way in? Then they will definitely be discovered by the other members of the army. Yu Maren said, "If that is the case, we should be able to hear the news." Su Yun's face darkened. Gong Zhouxiao could make any kind of joke with him, no matter how much they disliked each other, but he could not joke with him about this kind of thing. Su Yun's voice became cold. If someone is deliberately causing trouble, it might not be so simple. Seeing Su Yun's expression, Qin Wan widened her eyes. She did not understand what Su Yun was talking about, but she could see that Su Yun was very angry, and the consequences would be very serious. Su Yun suddenly got up. "Maybe I can't stay here for long. There are some things that I have to deal with." Yu Maren nodded. She would not be so pretentious as to be entangled with Su Yun. "You go do your thing. By the way, if you feel uncomfortable again, remember to tell me earlier. You almost scared me to death this time. I don't want this kind of thing to happen to you again in the future, okay?" Su Yun nodded. "I will." He had already taken Yu Maren's person, so he had to take some responsibility. As a man, he had to take responsibility. No matter how he took responsibility, no matter whether the other party needed him to take responsibility or not, his attitude had to be clear. Su Yun was a man of indomitable spirit. Of course, he dared to take responsibility for what he did. If he had to take responsibility, he would not run away. Even if all of this was voluntary by Yu Maren, even if all of this was just to get rid of the internal energy of the young child cultivation method in his body, it had happened. No matter how he explained, it could not change the reality. "From now on, you are my person." Su Yun said word by word, "No matter what happens, remember to tell me. I am in Shenzhen. You can find me at any time. I think Old Man Wang can definitely understand. I will definitely take responsibility." Yu Maren's face flushed red. She did not want to continue this topic with Su Yun. "Okay, I know. If you have something to do, just do it. I still have to wash the bed sheets." Su Yun was also a bit embarrassed. "Then I will go first." After Su Yun left, Yu Maren folded the bed sheets in perfect condition. This was her own secret, her own memento. Everything that happened last night was still fresh in her mind. It was as if everything had just happened. Every time she thought of that feeling, Yu Marin's face would turn red. The girl from before had suddenly become a woman. From then on, there was one more man in her world. The only man. Although this feeling had changed, Yu Marin could still adapt. Because a long time ago, Su Yun had already lived in her heart. She had also already adapted to the feeling of Su Yun not being by her side. Chapter 5:14. Even though Su Yun had left the Dragon Brigade for so long, Gong Zhouxiao was at a disadvantage the first time they met again. This was a painful blow to Gong Zhouxiao. All his sense of superiority was swept away after seeing Su Yun again. In this Dragon Brigade, even though Su Yun had left for so long as he came back, he was the most influential one. And as the best captain of several teams in the Dragon Brigade, he still couldn't be compared to the former captain of the Dragon Fury team. This gap made Gong Zhouxiao feel an inexplicable sense of loss. He even had the desire to take revenge. Envy, jealousy, and hatred were climbing to the peak. For Gong Zhouxiao, Su Yun was the same age as him. In the past, he was like his idol. He envied Su Yun very, very much. But when he grew up to be a captain like Su Yun, he began to realize why he couldn't get Su Yun's support. He began to be jealous. He was jealous that Su Yun's luck was better than his. He entered the Dragon Fury team, while he was in Long Wei. In the future, every year, the Dragon's Fury Special Forces would always be in first place. No matter how hard Gong Zhouxiao and his Dragon's Might Special Forces fought, no matter how hard they worked, they would at most be called the eternal second place in people's idle conversations. So he hated the person who always suppressed him. The eternal second place. Although this title was also a kind of affirmation, Gong Zhouxiao was not satisfied. When Su Yun was fired and left, he felt that his chance had come, but fate still played a joke on him. The Dragon Fury team actually saved the medical team that was kidnapped in Eastern Europe and West Asia by themselves. They also found the national treasure that had been lost for many years in the Golden Triangle, the Buddha's head of the 1,000 Buddha Mountain. All of this made Gong Zhouxiao know that this year, he still had to bow down to the Dragon Fury team. What made him even angrier and more unacceptable was that the person who suppressed him this year was not Su Yun, but Shadow Dragon Hua Leitang. Why were the people who entered the Dragon Fury team so lucky? This was the fuse that really ignited the jealousy in Gong Zhouxiao's heart. Now, Su Yun appeared at the most critical time and boosted the morale of the Dragon Fury team. In the martial arts competition in a few days, Gong Zhouxiao's confidence was once again crushed by Su Yun. There was a good saying, in a battle between experts, confidence may not guarantee victory, but without confidence, one would definitely lose. How could Gong Zhouxiao, whose confidence had been destroyed, not hate Su Yun? Although Su Yun could be said to have no enmity with him and had never had anything to do with him, he suddenly didn't want Su Yun to have an easy time. Since Su Yun was better than him in everything, then he would make Su Yun suffer more than him. Boss, the leader Yen of Dragon's Fury is here to see. Tang Zhao hurriedly ran to Gong Zhouxiao's office, but before he could finish his words, Su Yun had already reached out and pushed him aside, striding into Gong Zhouxiao's office. Gong Zhouxiao was shocked. Speak of the devil, and he would appear. He was just thinking about it, but he didn't expect Su Yun to suddenly appear. It was really evil. After Tang Zhao was pushed away, although he was unhappy, he still didn't dare to act rashly in front of Su Yun. He was very clear about what kind of person Su Yun was. He would rather offend his boss than offend Su Yun. This was probably the master that their Dragon Brigade couldn't afford to offend the most. It wasn't that he would turn hostile, but once he was provoked, the entire Dragon Fury team would turn hostile. If the Dragon Fury team wanted to mess with you, they wouldn't go to the bar or Weibo like the brainless fans, but they would play with you for real. Su Yun pointed to a chair by the wall and said with a smile, "Seeing that the guest is here, you didn't take the initiative to invite him. Mad Dragon, is this how Dragon Might treats its guests?" Without waiting for Gong Zhouxiao to speak, Tang Zhao obediently brought the chair over and placed it behind Su Yun. If it was someone else, he would have already opened his mouth to fight back, but today, he was exceptionally well behaved. Seeing his subordinate flattering him, Gong Zhouxiao glared at him fiercely. It's my people who are not sensible, I hope that the older brother will forgive them. Gong Zhouxiao said, but moving the chair is such a small matter, it's fine if you do it yourself. It's not that my people are not sensible, it's just that I've never had such an arrogant person come here. Su Yun chuckled. If he said that he was arrogant, then he would really show him how arrogant he was. After sitting down, Su Yun lifted his feet with a bang, and propped them on Gong Zhouxiao's desk. Propping up the chair's front legs, he leisurely swayed. Obviously, he had a domineering expression. Gong Zhouxiao's face immediately became unhappy. Leader Yen, what do you mean by this? You have to stand properly, you have to sit properly. Don't you understand this little rule? Don't call me Leader Yen. Su Yun waved his hand. Just call me Su Yun. I'm no longer part of the army, and I'm not some Yen Long. Standing properly and sitting properly is for you stupid soldiers to hear. It has nothing to do with me. I'll do it however I feel comfortable. Even if the emperor comes, he can't do anything about it. But this is my office, I can do anything about it. Gong Zhouxiao's voice was full of resistance. Su Yun revealed a provocative smile. I said that the emperor can't do anything about it, but I didn't say that you can't do anything about it. But I'm afraid that you don't have the ability to do anything about it. Why don't you try? Gong Zhouxiao suddenly clenched his fists. Su Yun, what do you mean? You came to my office for no reason, spoke rudely, and acted provocatively. You don't really think that I don't dare to do anything to you, do you? Even if Lieutenant General Wang Yi is your Shizhuan, if you cause trouble, I'm afraid he can't protect you. Don't talk nonsense. Su Yun was a little impatient. He took out a pack of cigarettes from his pocket, flicked one out, and put it in his mouth. He looked up at Tang Zhao, who was standing next to him. Although Tang Zhao had reminded himself 100 times in his heart that Gong Zhouxiao was his boss and that he didn't need to bow and scrape in front of Su Yun, when he saw the request in Su Yun's eyes, he obediently took out a lighter from his pocket and lit the cigarette in Su Yun's mouth. If it weren't for the fact that he didn't want to lose face in front of Su Yun, Gong Zhouxiao would have fallen out with Tang Zhao long ago. This was simply a disgrace to him as a captain. Su Yun was still sitting in front of Gong Zhouxiao's desk in the same manner, leisurely puffing out a cloud of smoke. Mad Dragon, for the sake of so many years, I don't want to fall out with you. You know better than anyone why I'm here today. Tell me, what do you want? I, Su Yun, will definitely give you as much face as I can, so I hope you won't make things difficult for me. I don't understand what you mean. You're the one who's looking for trouble, and you're the one who's making things difficult for me. I'm already very grateful that you're not throwing my face, let alone giving me face. Gong Zhouxiao's heart thumped. At this moment, he was basically sure of Su Yun's purpose for coming, and he was also basically sure of the identity of the two girls he had detained. Su Yun was still leisurely smoking the cigarette in his hand. I always thought that all the brothers in the Dragon Brigade were sensible people who liked to speak frankly. I didn't expect that you, Mad Dragon, weren't. The veins on Gong Zhouxiao's forehead throbbed. He thought about it again and again. At that time, the people who knew that he had captured the two girls were all his men. It was absolutely impossible for anyone to betray him. Now that Su Yun said this, it must be a guess. If he admitted it, then wouldn't Gong Zhouxiao be afraid of him? Su Yun? Say it. Su Yun unceremoniously flicked the cigarette ash to the ground. Don't waste my time. I've already said it so clearly, and you're still pretending in front of me? Do you think that I've been away from the Dragon Brigade for too long, so you don't remember what kind of person I am? Su Yun's words were like sharp swords, and Gong Zhouxiao's heart more or less felt a little weak. Tang Zhao's Adam's apple moved, and he swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He secretly looked up at Gong Zhouxiao. The thing that Captain Yen Long of Dragon's Fury couldn't accept the most was other people touching the people around him. Yesterday, the two girls that boss had put under house arrest had said that they were here to find Su Yun. They had obviously violated Su Yun's taboo by locking them up. Tang Zhao's small movements were caught by Su Yun. Su Yun smiled slightly and said to Tang Zhao, Wind Dragon, if your captain has forgotten what kind of temper I have, then you should remind him, not cover for him. In my dictionary, those who cover for others are guilty of the same crime. Su Yun had directly shifted the spearhead to Tang Zhao, and Tang Zhao really couldn't take it for a while. If Gong Zhouxiao hadn't given him a stern look, he was afraid that he might have really trembled. Yen. Leader Yen. We really don't know what you mean. Tang Zhao swallowed a mouthful of saliva. Since this matter had already been committed, then even if he died, he would rot in his stomach. If he admitted it, then wouldn't he, Su Yun, eat the people of Long Wei alive? Su Yun snorted. Well then, let me ask you, when T-Rex left his post yesterday, did you go to the Dragon Brigade's door? When Tang Zhao heard this, he quickly lowered his head, afraid that his eyes would betray him. And he had to admit that he didn't dare to look at Su Yun's eyes. That gaze was too terrifying, multiplying the pressure he felt, and he couldn't look directly at it. Gong Zhouxiao coughed lightly to ease the tension in his heart. Su Yun, we are no longer on the same side. You have no right to ask about our matters. Although you have been expelled from the Dragon Brigade, you should know the rules of the Dragon Brigade. We are the country's secret department. We have no right to report what we do to you. Mad Dragon. I don't want to give up until I see the Yellow River. I don't want to give up until I see the coffin. Su Yun threw the cigarette but in his hand directly on the ground, suddenly stood up and stepped on it. Although you and I have not carried out any life and death missions together, in the end, we have been together for a mission for so long. If you really want me to fall out with you, then I have no choice but to be rude to you. Su Yun suddenly stood up, startling Gong Zhouxiao. He thought that Su Yun was going to make a move just now, and was completely mentally prepared. As long as Su Yun dared to make a move, then he would definitely accompany him. But Su Yun didn't make a move immediately. I will give you 10 more seconds to think about it. If you still insist on going about things the wrong way, then I will have done my duty. But I will say the ugly words up front. I will definitely have a way to make you tell the truth. No matter the price. Chapter 5:15. Su Yun waited quietly for 10 seconds, and the smile on his face became more and more evil. Well, I've done what I can. I'll only ask you one last time, are you going to return my people to me? Guanglong, you know very well that even if those 2 girls trespassed into the Dragon Brigade, you have no right to put them under house arrest. Even if they came in to look for me, how do you think the higher-ups can punish them? I'm already the one who's been fired. But you're different. You know very well how big a mistake it is to put Huaxia citizens under house arrest. It's very likely that because of this matter, you can only hang the military rank on your shoulder forever, or even be directly removed like me. Which is more important, I think you should be very clear. Make a choice. Do you want to waste time with me, or take the initiative to explain what you've done? Yen Long, do you think you've won? Since we were young, you've always won everything. You're good, I'll never win against you. Gong Zhouxiao said, but this time I must win against you. You said I imprisoned Huaxia citizens without permission? Where's the evidence? Let me tell you, even if I admit it, so what? Where's the evidence? You have to pay attention to evidence. If you don't have evidence, don't talk nonsense. You forced me. Su Yun said lightly, I think I can definitely get fingerprints on the door. Moreover, Yu Meiren will testify for me. Gong Zhouxiao snorted. Why would Dr. Yu testify for you? Don't call her so intimately. Do you think Dr. Yu will still look at you after you leave the Dragon Brigade? Su Yun, wake up. It's not your world now. Why would Dr. Yu testify for you? You think too highly of yourself. Su Yun heard the strong jealousy in Gong Zhouxiao's voice. He, she's my woman. So what if she testifies for me? Do you think my woman will testify for other men? Guanglong, don't jump to conclusions without knowing anything. Don't talk nonsense with me. Gong Zhouxiao was furious. What right do you have to say that Dr. Yu is your woman? Don't flatter yourself. Only the best of the younger generation of the Dragon Brigade was worthy of Dr. Yu. This was what Lieutenant General Wang Yi had said himself. You're no longer a member of the Dragon Brigade. You have no right. It's not up to you to decide if you're qualified or not. Su Yun deliberately ignited the fire. I'm just telling you that she's a woman who slept with me in the same bed. Do you think I'm qualified? I'm afraid you're the one who isn't qualified. Gong Zhouxiao found it hard to control his emotions. Bastard! If you dare to speak nonsense again, be careful that I won't be polite to you. You said that Dr. Yu is your woman, then who are the two women who came to find you? You're so fickle. What right do you have to say that Dr. Yu is your woman? Su Yun had no intention of evading the question. Looks like you still admit it. Then let me tell you, those two are also my women. Guanglong, you should know my temper. How dare you touch the people around me? You must be tired of living. Leader Yen. Boss. Calm down. Don't be so agitated. If there's anything, we can talk about it. There's no need to make a big fuss. Tang Zhao was afraid. He could already see a huge spark between the two of them. Yen Long, this is my territory. It's not up to you to educate me. Gong Zhouxiao snorted. Look at the situation before you talk to me. Su Yun suddenly kicked the chair over. He walked straight to the window. He raised his hand and punched down. With a clang, the glass of the window shattered. With the sound of glass shattering, Gong Zhouxiao's anger became more and more unbearable. Su Yun dared to act like this in his office. He was too arrogant. Su Yun looked out of the window and placed the thumb and index finger of his right hand on his mouth. A loud and clear whistle, with a fluctuating tone, penetrated the entire headquarters of the Divine Dragon Brigade. With this whistle, Tang Zhao's face instantly turned pale. Gong Zhouxiao's expression also quickly darkened. They didn't expect Su Yun to use this move. In order not to lose too much face, Gong Zhouxiao slapped the table and said to Tang Zhao, "Go and call the brothers to gather. I want to see what Dragon's Fury can do to me." This time, it wasn't a one-on-one confrontation. Su Yun's whistle was known by the entire Dragon Brigade. But after he left, it hadn't sounded for a long time. This time, when the whistle sounded, all Dragon's Fury people were stunned. If they didn't know that Su Yun was in the headquarters, these guys would have turned hostile and thought that someone was playing with them. Boss's whistle. F***CK. Gong Sun Lang was stunned. He completely forgot that he was training kickboxing. Hua Xiaolu kicked him hard on the head. He was dazzled and couldn't help but curse. Hua Xiaolu was still wondering why this guy was suddenly distracted. He suddenly reacted, "Boss is calling for an emergency gathering." Qian Feng also stopped what he was doing. His partner was Fan Shuanger, so every time he trained, he was especially unhappy. He could only take a beating as a sparring partner, and he was not willing to really kick Fan Shuanger. Otherwise, he would definitely be scolded for being inhumane. Seeing Qian Feng's happy face, Fan Shuanger also knew that there was more to this whistle. "What's going on? Boss is calling us over." Qian Feng said lightly, "Let's call it a day. Do you want to come with us to see what's going on?" "Of course." Fan Shuanger said, "No matter what, I'm still a member of Dragon Fury Team. You guys have gathered, how can I not go?" "Humph, you're not still treating me as an outsider, are you?" Qian Feng grinned. Fan Shuanger's words proved that she recognized Su Yun's position in Dragon Fury Team. "Of course not. Let's go." Han Zhan and Chu Shi also stopped what they were doing, nodded to each other, and then rushed towards the direction of the whistle with everyone else. Facing this sudden change, Hua Leitang didn't say anything. He hadn't heard this whistle for a long time, and it was very familiar to hear it now. Since his brothers were all going, Hua Leitang, as the current team leader, naturally couldn't forget Yen Long's whistle. He had to go. However, the direction of the whistle was a bit strange. That was the Dragon Fury Team's territory. Why would Boss be there? Of course, it wasn't only the Dragon Fury Team that heard the whistle. This whistle also evoked many people's memories. Many people who weren't part of the Dragon Fury team were also curious about who blew the whistle. Curiosity drove some people to come forward to watch. Because of what happened last night, Yu Meiren had been resting in her room after sending Su Yun away. After all, it was very tiring. What she didn't expect was that after Su Yun left, the whistle that used to make her heart beat faster would suddenly sound. Obviously, there was an emergency. Otherwise, Su Yun wouldn't have whistled. Moreover, he was now a person who had been expelled. He wouldn't casually call everyone to gather, right? What exactly happened? This made Yu Meiren a little anxious. In the end, she chose to go and see for herself. Otherwise, she wouldn't be at ease. After all, she was the one who brought Su Yun in. She had to make sure that he could leave safely. If Su Yun got into trouble and couldn't leave, she wouldn't be able to explain it to Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan. Thinking of this, Yu Meiren quickened her footsteps. Like Yu Meiren, Wang Yi was sensitive to the whistle. He had single-handedly trained this group of brats since they were young. This emergency whistle made Wang Yi frown instantly. If this whistle sounded in the Dragon Fury team's area of activity, he wouldn't be surprised at all. However, this whistle sounded in the Dragon Fury team's area of activity. This made Wang Yi a little worried. Wang Yi originally wanted to get up and take a look, but in the end, he held himself back and stepped back. Some things were better left to them. If he came forward, he definitely couldn't cover up for Su Yun. After all, Su Yun was already expelled. No matter what, he didn't have the right to wander around the Dragon Brigade. He also didn't have the right to blow the whistle to gather people. No matter how you looked at it, Su Yun was in the wrong. This damn kid. If I don't cause him some trouble, I won't feel good. Sigh, forget it. Let him be. Wang Yi didn't care. He couldn't do anything about it. After all, this guy hadn't been in the Dragon Brigade for long. Since he was leaving soon, he could do whatever he wanted for once. Anyway, he had always been so lawless. He didn't care about this time. During this period of time, he had been watching over the Dragon Brigade. The head captain wasn't around, so he had the final say in everything. Su Yun could do whatever he wanted. Wang Yi believed that he knew what he was doing and wouldn't do anything too overboard. Headache. Wang Yi didn't know how to deal with the aftermath of Su Yun's actions, but he still let him go. Gong Jiuxiao didn't expect that after Su Yun had left for so long, the Dragon Fury team's members would be so sensitive to the whistle. They actually all rushed to the Dragon Fury team's territory within 5 minutes. At this time, Tang Zhao had also gathered all the members of the Dragon Fury team. In an instant, the two sides directly confronted each other. Not bad. Looks like you have some prestige as a captain. Su Yun smiled and suddenly jumped down from the window, landing in the middle of the two groups. Seeing Su Yun's sudden appearance, the Dragon Fury team members who were already prepared didn't think much of it. However, the Dragon Fury team members were completely shocked. No one dared to believe that the person who descended from the sky was actually Captain Yen Long. This was definitely something they didn't even dare to think about. Long time no see, brothers of Dragon Fury. Su Yun smiled and greeted them. Tang Zhao, who brought everyone back to the Dragon Fury team branch, blushed a little. He didn't dare to look directly into Su Yun's eyes. Some of the Dragon Fury team members who didn't know were very enthusiastic. They all greeted Su Yun. Hello, Captain Yen Long. We haven't seen each other for so long. You still look so good. Leader Yen, when did you come back? We all missed you. Hello, Leader Yen. Haha, what a surprise. Everyone was talking at once. Another surprise fell from the sky. Gong Jiuxiao also jumped out of the window that Su Yun broke. He stood in front of his group of members and said sternly, "It's really a surprise. Leader Yen came back on the first day and he wants to show us who's the boss of the Dragon Fury team. He even called all the members of the Dragon Fury team here. If that's the case, then we Dragon Fury team members can't be cowards. Brothers, don't you think so?" As soon as he said this, everyone was stunned. What was going on? Captain Yen Long came back to make things difficult for them? This wasn't a humiliation that a hot-blooded man could endure. Chapter 5:16. The atmosphere that was supposed to be reminiscing about the old days was instantly turned into a confrontation. Everyone in the Dragon's Fright team was puzzled and confused. They didn't even know what was going on. Although Dragon's Might was inferior to Dragon's Fury every year, it didn't affect their fondness and admiration for Yen Long and Su Yun. Everyone in Dragon's Might was actually very envious of Dragon's Fury because they had a good boss who won so many awards. Who wouldn't be envious? Moreover, Su Yun treated his subordinates differently from Gong Zhouxiao. Although he was very strict when he was angry, he was very harsh when he criticized and punished. However, the starting point was different and the way they looked at the problem was different. Dragon's Fury's Yen Long thought from the perspective of his brothers. Even if he punished, it was for the good of his brothers. Gong Zhouxiao, on the other hand, didn't have such a starting point. He only thought about himself. As time passed, the people in Dragon's Might naturally became more and more envious of Dragon's Fury's brothers. Later, someone from Dragon's Might went to Wang Yi and asked to transfer the special forces. Although Wang Yi didn't agree, the matter still reached Gong Zhouxiao's ears in the end. Perhaps this was the fuse that caused him to be incompatible with Dragon's Fury. Since that incident, no matter whether it was big or small, as long as it involved Dragon's Fury, he was more concerned than anyone else. In his words, no matter who he and his Dragon's Fright team lost to in the future, they couldn't lose to Dragon's Fury's people. This was the bottom line. Since things have come to this, I'll make it clear. Su Yun smiled slightly. Dragon's Might's brothers, don't blame me for coming to pick a fight with you today. We've been together for more than a year or two. Everyone knows each other's temperament. Since Mad Dragon dared to touch my people, it means that he's not afraid of me finding trouble with him. Today, I've brought my brothers here. We're just waiting for an answer. Are you going to let them go or not? Everyone's eyes were on Gong Zhouxiao. Everyone wanted to know who he had detained in Su Yun to be able to make Su Yun go to such lengths. It must be known that if one were to cause trouble in the team and cause a group fight, it would not be a small matter once the punishment was handed down by the higher-ups. Deducting 3 years of welfare allowance or 3 months of confinement were all small matters. They were afraid that they would be directly stripped of their military rank and fired. Su Yun was no longer a member of the Dragon Brigade. He dared to do this because he had nothing to lose, but Gong Zhouxiao did not dare to do so. Similarly, the members of the Dragon Fury team did not have any concerns. This was not because of Su Yun's good encouragement, but because their hearts were all united. No one would be afraid at this time. Su Yun, do you think you can scare me by bringing Dragon's Fury's brothers? Gong Zhouxiao snorted and incited them. Brothers, your leader Yen has already been fired. He can run away after making trouble here, can you? You dared to make a move in front of Dragon's Might today. Do you know what punishment it means? He's dragging you down with him, harming you. Hua Xiaolu sneered. Who doesn't have a punishment on them? Mad Dragon, I realize that you're really a grandson. You're really good at sowing discord. Today, I'll put my words here. Whatever our boss wants me to do, I'll do it. Worst comes to worst, I'll go out and follow my boss. With the first person taking the lead, the others also became agitated. Qian Feng grinned. That's right, I've F*King played enough. I really hope that the higher-ups will fire me. Boss is doing well outside. Brothers, no matter who gets fired, they'll have something to do immediately after they go out. What's there to be afraid of? In the entire Dragon Fury team, only Hua Leitang could still maintain his rationality. But at this time, no matter how rational he was, he wouldn't tear down Dragon's Fury's stage. Worst comes to worst, if they really fought, he, as the current acting captain, would have to bear one more punishment. In order to save Su Yun's face, paying a punishment was nothing. Compared with the valiant and high-spirited morale of the Dragon Fury team, the people of Dragon's Might were a little weak. They were not so open-minded. Compared to the punishment and expulsion once they started fighting, they would rather choose to remain silent. This was inseparable from the leader's leadership. Gong Zhouxiao had always been very strict with their discipline. Many of the members of Dragons might have never been punished in their lifetime, nor had they been locked up, so they didn't want to experience this feeling. On the other hand, the people of Dragon's Fury were much more mischievous. Except for Fan Shuang who was a newcomer for less than a year, how many of the others didn't make mistakes? Even Hua Leitang and Han Zhan, who had always been the most rational and calm, had been punished many times in the past. After all, their leader was a bold leader, so it was normal for them to make mistakes. Although Dragon's Fury often did things that violated the rules, they were all harmless and did not violate the rules. In addition, their contributions were far greater than the small mistakes they made, so the higher-ups had always been accommodating to them. Today, I only have one spearhead, and that's your Dragon's Might Captain, Mad Dragon. Su Yun said, as long as the Brothers of Dragon's Might don't make a move, then we won't touch anyone. But if any of you don't have eyes and want to be in the limelight and go against me, Yen Long, then don't blame me for not being polite. I'll deal with you all together. After these words were said, everyone present had a clear idea of what to do. Both sides had a clear framework of what to do. Now, it was up to both sides to see what they would do. Whose team was bolder, more united, and more dependent on their leader would be revealed soon. Looking at the people of Dragon's Fury surrounding them, the members of Dragon's Might had already begun to retreat. It was not that they did not dare to fight, but they were worried about how to deal with the aftermath of the fight. Besides, Su Yun said that Gong Zhouxiao detained his people, but Gong Zhouxiao had never explained this matter. If he really detained people privately, then it was a violation of the rules. If they still fought with Dragon's Fury's people because of the violation of the rules, then the punishment would probably be even more serious. Faced with all kinds of difficulties, the drums of retreat in the hearts of the members of Dragon's Might became louder and louder. After Dragon's Fury's people all approached, a member of Dragon's Might actually gave up and said, I quit. This matter has nothing to do with me. It's your own business if you want to participate. Suddenly hearing his subordinates say that they wanted to quit, Gong Zhouxiao's head felt as if it had been struck by lightning. How embarrassing this was. This was Dragon's Might's territory. The other party's people were riding on their necks and such *ting, but his own people actually said that they could do whatever they wanted and that it had nothing to do with him. With the first person to speak, there was immediately a second person to quit. I don't want to participate either. I don't even know why. After this fight, I'll be punished for no reason. It's really not worth it. When the second person to quit opened his mouth, the others naturally followed suit. Scattered people from the 4th and 5th bureaus all said, Boss, you should settle your personal matters privately. Don't involve us. Detaining people is already a violation of the rules. Boss, if you bring your brothers to fight with Leader Yen again, then you really want to harm your brothers. Everyone was talking at once. One after another, they all wanted to quit. No one stood up to speak up for Gong Zhouxiao. Gong Zhouxiao couldn't stand it when his own people slapped his face. Whoever King quits today isn't my Dragon's Might's people. Those who are afraid of trouble, all of you get lost. If you get lost, don't ever come back. With Gong Zhouxiao's anger, everyone was even more silent. Who could feel good about it? Dragon's Fury's people followed their leader to risk their lives. That was because they had their leader, Yen Long, who was so good to them and so responsible. But what about them? Their leader would give them death orders and use words like, get lost, to threaten them. This way, even those who worked for him would be unwilling to do so. Su Yun knew that there was no need for his brothers to do anything. Gong Zhouxiao's momentum was already gone. He shouldn't have said such words. It was too hurtful. They were all brothers in the same team, so they couldn't be treated as subordinates. They were all brothers. The leader was just someone who gave orders. There was nothing special about it. This was Su Yun's way of leading troops. That was why Su Yun could be so supported by his brothers. The first thing a king of soldiers should learn was respect. Su Yun knew very well that if he didn't respect others, he would definitely not be respected by others. No matter how high his position in the regiment was, and no matter how highly he was regarded by his superiors, he never behaved in a superior manner before his brothers. He treated them all the same, and regarded himself as one of them. When he integrated into the dozens of brothers in Dragon's Fury, he could truly feel that he was the soul of these people. Only by using his soul to command them could he obtain the greatest unity. Even in the face of punishment and punishment, none of them flinched because they were all protecting the same soul. The reason why Su Yun created such a mess today was to see if Dragon's Fury was still united. It was to educate Hua Leitang and let him know how to integrate into a group. Hua Leitang didn't let down Su Yun's good intentions. He could clearly feel that the reason he was so obedient to Su Yun was definitely not because he was the captain, instructor, or boss back then. It was because he had always treated him as a brother and had never treated him with a high attitude. At this moment, Hua Leitang finally understood the difference between Gong Jiuxiao and Su Yun. He also finally understood the difference between himself and Su Yun. The difference between them wasn't their so-called ability, but their way of leading troops. The word brother wasn't something that could just be said. It had to be proven through actions. The reason why Su Yun was able to obtain the support of all his brothers was because he had never said the word brother. Instead, he used actions to tell his brothers that he was their brother. Hua Leitang had figured everything out, and he felt as if he had been enlightened. At this moment, Su Yun looked at him meaningfully. It was as if he was asking if he had understood his good intentions. Hua Leitang could only return a grateful gaze. Su Yun would always be his captain, his boss, and his teacher. In contrast to Su Yun, ever since Gong Jiuxiao finished speaking, the dozens of people around him had retreated to the back one after another. In the end, the 3 or 5 people who stood beside Gong Jiuxiao had been hesitant. Even Tang Zhao and Ma Tengfei, who were usually the most loyal to him, had been shaken. Gong Jiuxiao knew that he had lost. He had lost without even fighting. He had lost too thoroughly. He had lost to the point where he couldn't even raise his head. Su Yun raised his hand with a whoosh. This was the tactical sign language they used to focus their attention. As long as Su Yun waved his arm, it would definitely hit wherever he pointed. Even if Gong Jiuxiao had great ability, he would definitely be instantly killed by the dozens of experts from Dragon's Fury. Unless he had the abnormal strength of the Sky Profound Realm. But that was an expert that only existed in legends. Chapter 517. Su Yun did not continue to give orders. He knew that Gong Jiuxiao had already admitted defeat. Some things should not be overdone. It was not easy for him to return to the Dragon Brigade. If he caused his brothers to be punished, he would really feel bad. Fortunately, Gong Jiuxiao was still the same as before. He would always drop the ball at the crucial moment. Of course, this was also considered as Dragon's Might's brothers giving Su Yun face. After all, Su Yun was now back in the Dragon Brigade. He was more or less a guest. Courtesy was the way to treat a guest. You win. I admit defeat. Although Gong Jiuxiao's expression was still unwilling, his voice did not betray him. He was sincerely convinced and could not even complain. Dragon's Fury's people not only gave him a sense of oppression, but also a sense of defeat that he had never felt before. He had lost. He had lost completely. However, after this incident, he also had an epiphany. It turned out that the way to convince his brothers was not to give orders, but to open their hearts to each other. Su Yun slowly lowered his arm. However, at this moment, Yumerin suddenly came to the scene. What are you doing? Yumerin did not know the situation at the scene. She shouted and barged into the crowd. Dragon's Fury's people knew about the ambiguous relationship between Yumerin and Su Yun, so they all avoided her. After all, she was their boss's woman in the eyes of their brothers in the army. Just like how Chong and the 3 tigers of Southern City treated Ruan Qingxuang as Brother Yun's woman. They would definitely not dare to disobey their boss. They would even listen to their boss's words more than they would listen to their boss's words. Su Yun frowned slightly. Why are you here? I have some personal matters to discuss with Mad Squad. Don't worry. You should go back and rest. Go back. I will take care of things here. Why are you looking for him? Are you going to lead them into a fight? Su-yun, you just came back and you want to cause trouble in the headquarters? Fortunately, only Lieutenant General Wang Yi is here. Otherwise, you will definitely be in trouble. Yu Meiren said sternly, hurry up and leave. Su-yun smiled and said, I'll leave when I'm done talking with him. You can go back first. Dr. Yu, don't go. You can stay here and witness it. Gong Zhouxiao suddenly said, Leader Yan is looking for me to ask for someone. I just happen to need you to help me witness whether this is the person that Leader Yan wants. Yu Meiren was startled. She looked at Gong Zhouxiao in confusion, and then turned her head to look at Su-yun. What do you mean? She asked doubtfully. Sister Shuang and Wan-er were in his hands. Su-yun said indifferently, if my guess is not wrong. What? Yu Meiren almost cried out. What was going on? Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan-er were in Gong Zhouxiao's hands. What kind of mess did they make? In short, Yu Meiren was in a mess. She could not understand what was going on. Gong Zhouxiao turned to Tang Zhao and Ma Tingfei and said, Feng Long, Zhao Long, go and bring Leader Yan's 2 women here. Ha ha. Su-yun laughed disdainfully in his heart. Gong Zhouxiao asked Yu Meiren to stay, just to tell her these things. Because Gong Zhouxiao did not know what happened between him and Yu Meiren last night, he thought that he could direct a good play to turn the tables. Since he wanted to act, then let him continue. Anyway, Su-yun only wanted to get Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan-er. His request was very simple. It was not excessive at all. Yu Meiren's eyes widened. How could they be? Did they really find them? No way. The Dragon Brigade was so secretive. Ordinary people would not think of entering a factory. Moreover, there was a guard at the door. Ah. No way. Just in a short time? She suddenly remembered that when she brought Su-yun here, Hua Xiaolu, who was on duty, even forgot to close the door and followed her all the way to the medical department. During the whole process, Hua Xiaolu left for at least half an hour. Could it be that Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan are found here in this half an hour? Maybe it was just a short time when Violent Dragon left. Su-yun nodded. Qin Wan-er's brain is different from a normal person's. Sometimes she makes simple things very complicated, and sometimes complicated things are very simple in her eyes. While they were talking, Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan-er had been let out. It could be seen that the 2 of them were intact. Gong Zhouxiao should have treated them with respect. When the 2 beauties, whose appearance and temperament were not inferior to Yu Meiren's, appeared, the scene almost exploded. There were almost no women in the Dragon Brigade. The only place with women was the medical department. The most beautiful Yu Meiren was already taken in everyone's hearts. No one dared to have any ideas about her. Now, the sudden appearance of these beauties made them feel a little overwhelmed. In an instant, everyone's admiration and envy for Su-yun quickly swelled. Now, regardless of the relationship between these 2 beauties and Su-yun, being able to know such beauties meant that he was luckier than them. After seeing Su-yun, Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan-er finally breathed a sigh of relief. When these 2 people went to invite them and said that Su-yun had come, they were a little worried that they were lying. After all, they were not sure whether Su-yun had woken up or not. At this moment, they finally relaxed completely. At this moment, Ruan Qingxuang only had Su-yun in her eyes. There were so many people around her, but she did not pay attention to anyone at all. She directly plunged into Su-yun's arms and hugged Su-yun tightly, as if she was afraid that he would pass out again and leave her. They were envious. Except for Qian Feng and Fan Shuang-er, who had seen Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan-er, the others were all guessing the relationship between this beauty and their boss. Looking at the way this beauty relied on Su-yun, everyone conservatively estimated that there was a 85% chance that they had slept together in bed. Of course, it was impossible for Gong Zhouxiao not to be jealous, but this was the effect he wanted. The person he liked was Yu Meiren. He wanted Yu Marin to know what kind of person Su Yun was. He wanted her to know that Su Yun had other women outside. This way, his chances would be greater. But these were just psychological effects. Gong Zhouxiao did not know that these two women came to Yanjing from Shenzhen with Yu Marin. And Yu Marin was even clear about the relationship between Su Yun and these two women. In addition to yesterday's incident, Yu Marin now believed in Su Yun's character even more. After all, with so many beautiful women, he could still retain his Yang Tongzi Gong internal force. This was almost a fairy tale existence for any man. Qin Wan pretended to be calm and walked in front of Yu Marin. She smiled slightly and said, "Dr. Yu, thank you. I've troubled you. At that time, I doubted you. I'm really sorry. Fortunately, you are here. Otherwise, we really don't know how to save him. By the way, what method did you use?" Yu Marin's face turned red. I don't have any method. This is all thanks to our leader. I was just an assistant. Oh. Qin Wan-er's face showed an expression of understanding. Her eyes happened to meet Fan Shuang-er. Fan Shuang-er smiled in a friendly way. Qin Wan-er was also very excited to see an acquaintance. She hurriedly pulled RuanQingshuang. "Sister Shuang, look who it is. It's Shuang-er. I'm here too." Chen Feng was not to be outdone. This was a great opportunity to show off. He wanted to let everyone know that he, Qing Long, also knew these two beauties. "You are here too." Qin Wan-er was obviously very surprised. Ruan Qingshuang woke up in Su Yun's arms. She saw that there were so many pairs of eyes looking at her. She was really embarrassed just now. Chen Feng smiled. "This is our army. Of course I'm here. I should be the one who is surprised. How could you?" Hua Xiaolu also understood. Yesterday, someone really came in at the gate. No wonder Gong Zhouxiao told him that. Fortunately, the person who came in was someone Su Yun knew. Otherwise, it would be really troublesome. "Sister Shuang, Sister Wan, long time no see." Fan Shuang, stepped forward and hugged them. She asked the question that Chen Feng did not ask just now. It was also the question that everyone was wondering. "Why are you here?" Ruan Qingshuang did not know where to start. She looked at Qin Wan-er. Qin Wan-er shrugged helplessly. "We didn't mean to break into your place. I'm a police officer. I also know the importance of confidentiality." If you want to blame someone, you can only blame Su Yun for being a disappointment. He suddenly fainted, and we really had no choice. "Doctor, you had already done a bloodletting treatment for him once. She said that she could only bring him back here for treatment. Shenzhen is so far from Beijing, so we were worried, so we came with Dr. Yu." Ruan Qingshuang helped to explain. "Of course, Doctor, you didn't bring us in. She asked us to get off before we arrived. She didn't violate the rules. We found it ourselves. Now that we know that Su Yun is fine, we are ready to go now." "It's okay. I brought Su Yun here. It's also against the rules." Yu Marin smiled slightly. "There are no outsiders here. You don't have to worry about people talking." Hey Chen Feng looked at Gong Zhouxiao, and insinuating insinuations, he said, "Who said there are no outsiders? If there were no outsiders, why would you put my two Jejie under house arrest for the whole day? Aren't you just waiting for an opportunity? Now the opportunity is here. Go and tell Violent Dragon that you didn't guard the door properly. He doesn't care about this punishment anyway." Gong Sunlang said, "Even if Violent Dragon will be given a second-level punishment for guarding the door, then Captain Kwang will definitely be given a first-level punishment for imprisoning Hua Xia citizens. Don't. In fact, this captain is very good to us." Ruan Qingshuang was soft-hearted. "He didn't put us under house arrest. He also helped us. At least we weren't found out by the leaders. In this case, Doctor, you won't be punished, right?" Fan Shuang smiled bitterly and said to herself, "I've heard of good intentions doing bad things. This is the first time I've encountered a good thing with bad intentions. Gong Zhouxiao's face turned white. He was really embarrassed. He originally wanted to use these two people to threaten Hua Xiaolu, but he didn't expect that these people were brought by Yu Meiren. This was really embarrassing. Kuang Long, thank you for helping me take care of them. Yu Meiren's thanks made Gong Zhouxiao blush even more. He couldn't bear it at all. These two women are... Gong Zhouxiao was not reconciled. He didn't understand why Yu Meiren was so friendly to them. Couldn't she see that their relationship with Su Yun was a bit too ambiguous? Without waiting for Yu Meiren to explain, Su Yun stepped forward and explained, "Didn't I say before that these two are my women? If you dare to touch them, you're going against me. Why, you still don't believe me?" Gong Zhouxiao was confused. "Then why are you with Dr. Yu? She..." Chapter 5:18. What a domineering answer. Even so, none of the three women stood up to deny it. This silent acquiescence made everyone admire Su Yun to the point of prostrating themselves before him. He had so many women on his left and right, yet he didn't mess up. It was really hard to understand. The only person in the world who could do this was their boss, Su Yun. Cough. Suddenly, a light cough attracted everyone's attention. Instantly, the atmosphere quieted down. Standing in front of them was Wang Yi's secretary, Du Wen. Don't be fooled by the fact that this guy wore glasses and looked like a gentleman. He was still a member of the previous generation of special forces who retired due to injuries. Don't be fooled by the fact that his left leg was fitted with a prosthetic leg. When it came to fighting, he was definitely not careless. At the very least, it wouldn't be a problem for him to deal with 3 to 5 little brats. Wang Yi didn't keep Du Wen by his side to help him fight or be a bodyguard. He didn't need him. He just felt that Du Wen was smart and had enough combat experience. He could stay and help him. Moreover, Du Wen was a bachelor and didn't plan on getting married. It didn't make sense for him to retire from the military. Wang Yi knew that Du Wen was like him. He was the kind of person who would die in the military for the rest of his life. As the captains of Dragon's Fury and Dragon's Might, Hua Leitang and Gong Zhouxiao naturally stood in the front row and took the lead to salute. "Hello, Secretary Du. I'm fine. You guys don't seem to be fine." Du Wen smiled faintly. The reason these brats were so respectful to him was because his fists were strong enough. Otherwise, they wouldn't be afraid of an old man like him who had retired from the army. Su Yun chuckled. "Everything is fine. Everything is fine. Brother Du, why are you here instead of by the chief's side?" Du Wen's face darkened. "Yen Long, you really have guts. It's your second day back and you're already planning to stir up trouble in the Dragon Brigade? Fortunately, you were unconscious yesterday. Otherwise, you'd be in trouble today. Look at you." Su Yun smiled brightly. "You must be blaming me for not visiting you after I woke up, right? TSK, 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 it's my fault. It's my fault that I'm not clear-headed. If I'm awake this time, I'll definitely bring you 2 boxes of smothered donkey to drink." This Du Wen was from the Meng clan, so he especially liked to drink this kind of high-alcohol liquor. Su Yun was catering to his taste. 5 years ago, Su Yun had followed Du Wen to Inner Mongolia for a mission. Therefore, he had dined in the yurt with Du Wen. Therefore, he knew the saying of the 3 bowls of wine in Inner Mongolia. 1 bowl of wine after dismounting, 1 bowl of wine after entering the house, and another bowl of wine after dismounting. At that time, Gong Sun Lung also went with them. This guy always thought that he could drink 3 to 5 liters, so he drank a bowl of dismount wine with Du Wen. However, before he even reached the yurt, he began to complain that he was dizzy. He didn't even dare to drink the second bowl, let alone the third. In Gong Sun Lang's words, this wasn't wine, it was F*King alcohol. Who was he trying to drink to death? But the people from Inner Mongolia liked this kind of liquor. For example, Du Wen wasn't used to other kinds of liquor. He could barely make do with liquor with more than 53% alcohol, but those with 38% or 36% alcohol were like mouthwash in front of him. This was because the worst kind of liquor he usually drank in his hometown was smothered donkey with more than 68% alcohol. He was someone who even dared to drink 75% alcohol. Stop with the useless flattery. If you were sober, you wouldn't be able to come here. Du-Wen smiled helplessly. Alright, I won't talk to you anymore. Just now, Chief Wang Yi told me to come over and tell you that he won't hold you accountable for what happened in the past 2 days. However, you must leave the Dragon Brigade within 15 minutes. Because in 15 minutes, the brigade will be back. By then, it won't be so easy for you to leave. And these 2 girls who accidentally broke in, I'm afraid they won't be let go so easily. Chief Wang Yi gave you enough face, didn't he? Su Yun nodded. Of course he understood. Once they heard that there were only 15 minutes left, everyone in the Dragon Fury team withered. But this was what Wang Yi said. No one could go against it. And when the brigade arrives, this matter won't be so simple. Boss, you should go. We won't see you off. Chen Feng was the first to speak. After he finished speaking, he turned around and left without hesitation. He knew what 15 minutes meant. There was no time to waste. After Chen Feng spoke, the others followed suit. Hua Xiaolu only said goodbye to boss and left. Han Zhan only said 2 words, take care. Looking at the leaving crowd, Fan Shuang also said goodbye to Wan Qingxuang and Qin Wan. When she caught up with Chen Feng, she saw that the corner of this Iron Man's eyes were trembling. Su Yun's eyes turned red. After Hua Leitang was the last to turn and leave, he rubbed his face fiercely and said to Gong Jiuxiao with a smile again, Captain Kuang, please be more polite to my brothers in the future. We are all one family, there is no need to be so tit-for-tat and fight to the death. If I did anything wrong in the past, please forgive me. Anyway, I'm not a member of the Dragon Brigade anymore. You don't have to be angry with me. If you have a chance to go to Shenzhen, find me at Xingkai Hotel. Gong Jiuxiao really didn't know how to face Su Yun. If he said that he was a good friend, it was definitely not wrong to be a brother. He was really not reconciled. After all, Su Yun still wanted to fight with him for Yu Meiren when there were so many beautiful women outside. However, if he were to become enemies with Su Yun for the sake of Beauty Yu, he didn't think that they would be so distant from each other. In the end, he could only choose to wave his hand to signal Su Yun to leave quickly. He didn't want to let the team come back and block the courtyard. At that time, he wouldn't be able to leave even if he wanted to. You should go back and take care of your body, Su Yun said softly to Yu Meiren. He knew very well that Yu Meiren must have spent a lot of effort to break his body's extreme Yang Boy Gong internal energy. As a man, Su Yun didn't feel good about it. He owed Yu Meiren too much. Yu Meiren nodded, her face full of tenderness, and said, Don't worry, I'm doing well in the Dragon Brigade. You, on the other hand, must take care of your body. I will. Su Yun nodded. Du-Wen raised his arm and looked at his watch. There are still 10 minutes before the team comes in. If you don't want to greet him directly, then don't continue to linger. Car key. Yu Meiren took out the car key and handed it to Su Yun. I've parked the car in front of the medical department. If you hurry up and drive away, there's still time. Su Yun ran to the medical department without saying anything, and said to Du-Wen while running, Brother Du, please take the 2 beauties to the main road. I'll be there in 2 minutes. Du-Wen smiled and nodded. This was a wise choice. If he let the 2 girls run with him, it would take at least 5 minutes. After all, ordinary people couldn't be compared to Su Yun, who had abnormal physical fitness. If this guy really ran 100 meters, it would be easy for him to beat Usain Bolt. However, the Olympic Organizing Committee would definitely seriously suspect that he overdosed on stimulants. They wouldn't even need to do a urine test to conclude. It couldn't be helped. This was too abnormal. No one would dare to believe it. When Du-Wen took Wan Qingxuang and Qin Wan to the main road, a crazy Qian roared and screeched to a stop 50 meters in advance. The car stopped beautifully in front of the 2. There were deep tire tracks on the ground. After Ruan Qingxuang and Qin Wan got in the car, Su Yun gritted his teeth and said to Du Wen, "Brother Du, you're usually by Wang Yi's side. I'll have to trouble you to take care of him. This old man is old now. No matter how strong he is, his body will age at this age. Tell him, don't try to be brave. There are so many little bastards under him that he can order around. Help me tell him that I hope to have a chance to drink with him next year. Tell him to drink less. His body is the capital to compete with me in drinking next time." "I got it. I'll definitely tell him. Let's go." Du Wen stretched out his right hand and said, 8 more minutes. Have a safe trip." Su Yun also reached out his hand and shook Du Wen's hand through the window. He stepped on the accelerator and the black Qian rushed out like a roaring little monster. Hearing the roar of the engine, everyone frowned. The farther the sound was, the farther Su Yun was from them. The short reunion made them feel more regretful. Du Wen looked at the deep tire tracks on the ground and called Gong Jiuxiao helplessly, "You guys deal with this place. There are still 7 minutes. It's better to deal with it before the main team comes back. Or you can find a way to explain it yourself. After all, this is Longwei's territory." Gong Jiuxiao laughed helplessly. This was Su Yun's gift to him in the short 2 days he came back? Well, I'll do it myself. Thinking that so many brothers didn't support him today, his heart was still cold. Well, Su Yun really taught him a lesson on this matter, making him understand how to be a good leader. Just as Gong Jiuxiao was dealing with the tire tracks, Longwei's people gathered around and squatted down to clean with him silently. This was the first time that Gong Jiuxiao didn't order them to do something, but they took the initiative to do it. The way of leading troops, this question really needed Gong Jiuxiao to think about it carefully. Wang Yi sat in the office and said to himself, "Hey, he said he would come back tomorrow. Why did he suddenly come back today? He really likes to do surprise attacks. He didn't even give me and my beloved disciple a chance to have a drink. So annoying, so annoying." At this time, Du Wen had already returned to Wang Yi's office. He knocked on the door and walked in. Seeing Wang Yi beating his chest and stamping his feet, he smiled and said, "Chief, don't sigh. I've already made an appointment for you. Tonight, at the nearest Soho wine bar." Wang Yi's eyes widened instantly. "No way, little Du, who told you to make your own decision? There's definitely no chance tonight. We definitely can't go. Is what you said true or false?" "Really? I really made an appointment for you." Du Wen looked a little embarrassed. Wang Yi shook his head helplessly. "Well, then I can only miss the appointment. The main force rushed back today for a very important matter. The Japanese self-defense forces are trying to sow discord in the waters of Turtle Island again. It's Hua Xia's New Year soon, if I'm not wrong. They want to give Hua Xia an unexpected New Year's gift. If that's the case, then don't blame us for not being polite. They want to make arrangements first, so we have to be prepared in advance." Du Wen also calmed down. "Is it a first-level preparation?" You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.